Hello and welcome into the live stream on YouTube, folks. We will have some great debates today, especially after what Trump had to say yesterday about the Epstein files. In fact, we already have our first Trump supporter loaded into the live. Their name is Kinsey. They're 18. Kinsey, I'm going to go and let you take it away and tell us why you support Trump. And for everybody on YouTube, my screen's going to go black here for a second. It's just because I'm turning off my camera to blow my nose. So I'll be right back for everybody on YouTube. You'll still be able to hear the volume. Kinsey, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Hi, so real quick, I just wanted to say that I do follow you and Parker, and I do support y'all. I just don't agree with a lot of stuff that y'all say. And just know that I have like full respect for you and everything. But the reason why I support Trump is because as a woman, I just feel a lot safer with most of these, not all of them, but most of these undocumented immigrants going back to where they belong to. And I'm so sorry, I do have a speech impediment, so if I do stutter, that is why.
Okay, Kinsey.
Um,
Well, I'm going to say this and I mean it. That's an irrational position. And when I say that's an irrational position, I literally mean that's a rational position. My evidence that that is an irrational position is that statistically speaking, undocumented immigrants are significantly less likely to commit all crimes, including violent crimes, when compared to citizens. So if we're operating purely on the basis of a fact, reason, and logic, if you had to be alone in a room with somebody and you could choose between a citizen and an undocumented immigrant, you'd be significantly more likely to leave that room safely if you were in that room with an undocumented immigrant. Fun fact of the day.
okay. Well, I do want to say, and this is a true story. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm a little nervous. Um, but I was almost kidnapped by an undocumented immigrant, and I know this for a fact because ICE came to my town and took that same guy because I was like, he was going into our local Walmart, and that's where they took him from. Because he came in. Not only did he come in here illegally, he he kidnapped some little kid and apparently raped her and everything and a whole bunch of stuff. So, and then like the ICE was just in a town 20 minutes away from me. And just, I don't know. I just really find out that the fact that, I mean, like, I understand that people would want to come into America for the right reasons and stuff because there's stuff like they don't like about their country, but just do it legally, please.
Real quick, I'm really sorry
Yeah.
to hear that that happened to you. I think not just in America, but on the global stage, right? There's an attack on women, regardless of that's shitty bad actors trying to kidnap them, raping them, etc. Okay, like I mean, the fact that men commit 92% of violent crimes, and we also see a lot of these violent crimes being committed against women, is like something that needs to be acknowledged and discussed.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry that that happened to you. That is like seriously terrible. And you know, if that happened to me, that would be incredibly traumatic, right? You know, like the human trafficking of women and girls in America is a really big deal that deserves to be discussed 110%. Now,
Yeah.
the fact that an undocumented immigrant did this to you, like you shouldn't yield the conclusion from that fact that therefore undocumented immigrants as a whole are more likely to be violent, less safe, etc. Because once again, the statistics just simply tell a different story. But once again, I'm really sorry that happened to you, and that's a really shitty experience. And the undocumented immigrant that did do that, right, whoever they are, they deserve to be locked up.
Yeah. And I do have a question because I have been trying, because I grew up in a conservative household and I really did like, I'm trying to like, I mean, like I'm doing some more research, but can you tell me a reason why that I should vote for Kamala or Kamala?
Kamala. Well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
you got it right the first time. Well, the
Okay.
election was 7 months ago, so I mean, in any more, you know, the time that we spend here on live is to discuss the current president, not so much the Democrat who ran in 2024. Now, I actually wanted to bring up a couple points to you here because this also has to do with the safety. Gotta
Okay.
Please get sorry, my allergies are really flaring up
No,
this
no,
morning.
no, it's
This
fine.
also
Yeah,
has
but
to
like,
do with the safety of women and girls. So, what are your thoughts on the Epstein files that
um,
Donald Trump ran on releasing the client list that he said he's going to let out? The client list that Pam Bondi said she had sitting on her desk, the client list that JD Vance said 3 weeks ago needs to be released to the mainstream. What are your thoughts on all of that?
I didn't really see much about that because like I'm really not like on Twitter or wherever it was like up at. But so can you tell me a little bit about that, please?
So do you know who Jeffrey Epstein is?
I mean, I've heard of him, yeah.
Okay, well, honestly, if you're not familiar, like super familiar with Epstein, you're not super familiar with like the Epstein files. Maybe that's a conversation for me to have with somebody else.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I just wanted to
I guess once again, I just want to go over the reasons why you support Trump. So you said that you support Trump for mass deportation because you think that undocumented immigrants are violent because an undocumented immigrant tried to do something bad to you.
and
My first takeaway is I'm incredibly sorry that happened to you. Whoever did that to you deserves to be locked up. My second takeaway is just because they were an undocumented immigrant, obviously what motivated them to attempt to kidnap you wasn't the fact that they're not a citizen, but rather some other incredibly immoral virtues that they find to be the case. So you can't project that same view of the individual that attempted to do that to you on like all undocumented immigrants, right? This is
yeah.
like the same biases that led a lot of white people into thinking that black people are all violent because they can name one black person ever that has been violent, something like that. Stereotypes and stigmas that exist around black Americans for sure. It's absolutely prejudice that we should reject. My third takeaway is that statistically speaking, when we look at crime rates, citizens are just significantly more likely to commit violent crimes than undocumented immigrants. They're safer people on average. And my fourth takeaway is the fact that, mass deportation is incredibly destructive to the economy. It rips trillions of dollars off of our GDP, it really destabilizes our manufacturers, reduces GDP per capita and average qualities of life, which will also increase poverty. And a lot of crime is a result of poverty, meaning that, a mass deportation would inevitably cause more crime too. So, in lieu of these facts, I really don't think that should give you any reason to support Trump or mass deportation.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Like that was just kind of like an example I wanted to throw out, but it's just like why come in here illegally? Like I understand like oh your country may be bad and this and that, but if you want to come in and this is like with so far that I've read, this is like with where everywhere else, just come in here the right way. Don't try to like sneak in or, or anything.
This
Like
still
I
isn't
mean,
an argument, though, because the fact of the matter is there's millions of people that are in America right now that came in with the use of undocumented means due to the unattainable legal means of entry. And that's a fact. So we have to be able to figure out what we want to do with these people. And obviously, right, the plan that our government should enact to address every undocumented immigrant in this country should be the plan in which generates the best outcomes for this country, the undocumented immigrants, the citizens, etc., right?
yeah, and
Okay,
it's not.
and objectively speaking, that plan is not mass deportation. Like let's just be real here. It's incredibly destructive to the economy. It's incredibly destructive to increasing crime rates. It's incredibly destructive to destabilizing our producers. Right? If the better way to address the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country is probably something like mass amnesty. But I mean, if your whole argument here just hinges on, well, they didn't do it the right way, they did something illegal. If you were so tough on law and order and punishing crime that you don't mind significantly eroding, right, our own country while punishing crime and hurting us, right, then why did you put a felon adjudicated rapist in the Oval Office?
Well, I mean, like I don't agree with what Trump did at all. But it's not even just deportation in general. It's like also about abortion. But then again, like I get like I'm on like both sides about that as well. Um, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. But like you have to understand, like Trump didn't necessarily ban abortion. Period. He left that up to the states
Yeah, knowing that
to.
the states would ban it. I mean, I think that if anybody was in Trump's shoes and they directed SCOTUS to overturn Roe v. Wade and send it back down to the state, that they'd be in part responsible for every single state in which did ban it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, so necessarily he didn't really ban it because there's some states where you can get abortions at.
But that doesn't change
And
that there's also states where it's banned, which is now restricted the access to elective abortions for 66 million American women and girls, and has caused 60 great victims that got impregnated as a result of said grape to be denied access to abortion in 10 of our states every day. Right? He obviously shares some of the blame for that.
well, I mean, yeah, and like, and I know that like he, I mean, he knows. But, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, but like, it's not even like just like with the deportation. It's also about like abortion and stuff. And like, I mean, but with the whole thing, when Obama did deportation, why did nobody say anything about that?
Well, I mean, I think that there's big differences between Obama's deportations and Trump's. For one, Obama didn't make, these concentration camps in 8 days to be popped up in Florida where they're serving the detainees one meal a day, some of those meals having maggots in them without clean water to bathe for a week. He didn't do that. He didn't deport undocumented immigrants, violating their constitutional rights, and support those illegal deportations, even after SCOTUS ruled against him, sending people to CICA and El Salvador to be tortured and beaten. He didn't do that either. He also didn't focus on a deportation of every undocumented immigrant in this country. He very clearly focused on the deportations of undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses or hefty nonviolent criminal offenses. And my evidence of this isn't just the fact that it's what he was doing and that's what he said he did, but he's also single-handedly responsible for the creation of work programs to help nonviolent undocumented immigrants get a job and provide to the economy and their family, such as DACA. So because of these clear, distinct differences in how they managed their deportation operations, I would very much so expect a different public reaction.
Like, yeah, like you're not wrong. Like, I'm not gonna like sit here and argue and say that you're wrong at all. But like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm getting nervous and my stutter is getting really bad. Um, but like I said, can you just like, can you tell me why Trump is such a bad president, please?
Yeah, he's terrible for the economy, not only because of the mass deportation. The tariffs also regressively hurt poor people the most. His big, beautiful bill costs $4 trillion, and it's a reverse Robin Hood, taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich, kicking 17 million people off of health insurance and 3 million people off of food stamps. That's evil. Not to mention he's evil as a person, an adjudicated rapist that has boasted about perving on naked underage teenage girls while they were undressed in their changing rooms. The most recent debacle with the Epstein files, saying that they exist and that he's going to release them, but once he's president, saying they're a Democrat hoax made by Obama. That is so glaringly, obviously bad that now there's hundreds of thousands of Trump supporters across the country that are turning on him. There is so many reasons not to support him. And if any of those don't convince you, I hope an argument from incompetence would, because that's, everything that MAGA was screaming about Biden for the last 4 years. He's just not a bright guy. You wouldn't be able to find a single clip of him speaking intelligently about policy in the last 10 years.
Because I grew up in a conservative household, and so I've always got told that, hey, like Trump is doing a great thing and this and that. And obviously I've done a little bit of research, but not as much as you have and Parker has. But I recently talked to Parker about this too. Um but I told him like the same thing I just told you. And I don't know, like part of me wants to switch parties, but the other part of me is like, oh, because I care about what other people think and I care about what other people have to say and everything.
Okay, well, how about this, Kinsey? I think that maybe a better place for you to be is just watching the live instead of debating on it. I feel like you could take a lot of educational value away from this. I appreciate you so much for coming up and giving me some of your time, and I hope that you do your research and you come to the right side of history.
Have a great day, Dean.
Yeah, you as well, Kinsey. Take care. Seriously, take care. Now, quickly, before we hop into the next conversation with AZ Desert down here, got a handful of people to thank. Mr. David, first and foremost, thank you for the $28 over on Super Chat. Can we get 300 David W's down below? David says, you should ask them about how the El Salvadorian prison just threw Trump under the bus. They told the UN that America had full control of the prisoners the whole time they made it up with Garcia. No way, really? David, holy fuck. I got to do my research on that, because if that's true, David, that's insane. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. As well as Joanna, thank you for the $10 over at Super Chat. Say nice to see you today. Nice to see you as well, Joanna. And then Eliana with the $10 saying, hey, Queen, what's going on, Eliana? Good to have you back in here with us for today. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. As well as Aaron, 15 minutes ago with a $5 on Venmo. Saying, love you, Dean, you're so peak. I appreciate you for your kindness, Aaron, as well as a $5 donation. And then, holy shit, dude, Mr. Christian with the $100 donation over on PayPal to start the stream. Dude, Christian, thank you so much for the love. I don't deserve that much kindness from you. You're incredibly generous, Christian. Thank you so much, man. While we're hopping into this next debate, if we could seriously have everybody watching spam some W Christians in the live chats, that would be phenomenal. Thank you so much, Christian. Now, AZ Desert Rider 24,
Bro,
welcome
are you fucking done yet? Are you fucking done running your mouth, bro? I'm sick and tired of hearing your shit run your mouth. Fucking threaten people with CPS, getting their kids taken away when you take things out of context. Everything that dude said to you that day about children on the beach, you took completely out of context and ran your fucking mouth with it, bro. You shit from your asshole, dude. Your brain. How old are you, dude? How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
How old are you? How old?
I'm 20.
Yeah, you're 20 years old. You know that the human brain, the frontal cortex of the brain isn't fully developed till the age of 25 to handle social interactions.
I think for men it's actually 26 on
No,
average.
it's actually, okay, yeah, and you're out here
But
as
it's
a
not the whole
20-year-old
brain, it's the
kid.
prefrontal cortex.
You're out
Just
here as a
saying.
20-year-old kid trying to tell people that they know some shit, that you're a child. You need to shut your shithole, dude. Seriously.
You gagged me. What can I say? Okay, where do you want to start? Because I mean, there's a handful of things.
I don't want to
Well,
start with you, dude.
sir. If you're gonna talk about how I'm a
run your
child,
mouth to the world like you think you know some shit. You've lived 20
think I
years
do.
of life, and you come on here and you play politics and propaganda with the world like you think you're smart shit, dude.
Well,
You don't know a fucking thing, honestly. You sit there in front of a
he's
computer
losing
and you
it.
regurgitate bullshit
All
that
right.
you read off the fucking computer over statistics that you think are legitimate.
yeah.
Where do you think the statistics you're reading are 100% valid? You
right.
think all the polls in the world are valid? Dude, you need to shut your little shithole.
I have a feeling
Okay.
you're gonna leave now, right? Like you're not gonna actually talk to me. You can't handle a
For what?
conversation
What's the
with
point
me.
of talking to you, dude?
Right,
I have
precisely.
no respect for anybody that takes shit out of context and tries to have children's kids taken based on something you're not intellectually intelligent enough to even understand at the age of 20 years old.
Well, that's the
Like you
point that
can tell adults
Can I
fucking
talk?
adult things.
Can I speak real quick? Is that fine? Is that fair? If you're gonna be talking about how much
go
of
ahead.
it, if,
Go ahead,
if
shit
you're gonna
from
be
your asshole, because that's what you do as I sit here and listen to you try to talk people down
Okay.
through your fucking little
I'm gonna mute you in
statistic
5
fucking things you
seconds.
read
4
that
seconds,
are garbage, bro.
3 seconds,
You're garbage.
2 seconds. We're gonna skip the last 2 and we're gonna put you right on mute. First and foremost, if you're gonna accuse somebody of being an incompetent child that knows nothing, don't act like a literal incompetent child that knows nothing. Have some self-control. I want you to control your emotions, and I want you to act your age. That is a fair request in any conversation I have on this live, but a mandated
go fuck
request
yourself.
if you're going to be making these accusations as you are. I want you to just tune down the emotions a little bit. I want you to get a grip on reality and act your age. God damn it. I feel like that's more than fair for me to
You've
request of
already
you.
made the accusations trying to have somebody's kid taken, dude.
You wanna
You
talk
took it out
about
of
that.
context and it's all fucking over the internet. Your fucking words
know-
broke.
you know
Your
what else
fucking
is all
words
over
don't
the-
let your mouth over.
You know what else is all over the internet is the 5.5-minute clip of them reaffirming that they think parents have the right to sexually exploit their
Bullshit.
kids, reaffirming that
You
when
took it out of
parents sexually
context,
exploit
bro.
their kids, they can't fault them for it, and that when parents sexually exploit their children, it's a transaction that benefits the exploiter as
Out of
well as the
context,
child,
dude.
as well as calling
You took it out of
CPR,
context and that's a fucking.
and reaffirming that they don't think having children create child core.
You took it out of
is-
context, bro.
you'll have
Stop
your
trying to
chance to
fucking
speak.
backpedal.
You'll have your chance
Little
to speak.
lie. You're a little
You're gonna have your chance to speak.
backpedal, bro.
I'm gonna give you your mic as soon as I'm done.
backpedal your shit, bro.
Okay, all right. If I'm the child, why are you acting less mature than my 5-year-old nephew? And he left. Well, I mean, that's what we call a crash out. That's what we call a crash out, everybody. An absolute radical crash out. A generational crash out at that. By the way, if you're curious of what he's talking about, I'm not going to readdress it on live. Feel free to go watch my second most recent video on TikTok. It will answer any and all questions that you have if you were curious to the truth of what he had said. Now, we're going to move on to the next guest. Let's try to get somebody loaded into the stream that's not a generational crash out like him. Well, I mean, what an embarrassment to middle-aged white men. I don't know what to tell you. And let's see what that next guest has to say to us. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump, everybody. We're going to go to load that next guest up into the box right now, everybody. As well as make sure that we are double tapping away on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends, everybody. Welcome in, Mr. Dom. Do you support Trump?
No, sir. I'm so sorry. I was trying
No
to.
worries at all, Dom. Make sure if you're in that queue that you're following the rules. If you do find yourself in that queue, make sure that you are at least 18 from America and support Donald J. Trump. Like I said, I would really, really appreciate it if you guys would please follow those rules. Let's go to move on to the next guest right now, everybody. What's going on, Channing? Do you support Trump?
Oh, I actually didn't think I would get in.
Okay, then don't request if you don't think that you're going to get in here. Come on, guys, if you're in that queue, make sure that it means that you're MAGA. If you would like to skip the queue that we see, just hop up and join the live. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right, how old are you?
I am 39.
Phenomenal. Okay, take it away. Why do you support Trump, sir?
Well, I'm kind of mixed when it comes to the big beautiful bill. I do believe that there's going to be some benefit for people that are of a higher income bracket.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern with Donald Trump at this point is his assault on democracy. That's one of the things that I'm not okay with. But I like what we're seeing from these countries backing down. I like what we're seeing from they're coming to the table and they're making. I do see him that he's making America great again.
He's making America great again. Well, give us a specific example of him making America great again.
Okay, so one of the things that's going to help me is I recently bought a new car, and I'm going to be able to deduct the interest on my vehicle for 4 years. And so that's going to be about $2,500 a year, plus the tax cut that I'll get, which is another $2,500 a year or so.
You're going to be able to deduct the interest on it. Is it a business vehicle?
No, sir. This is any vehicle that was built in the United States that has that was assembled in the United States and is used for personal use, sir.
Okay, and what bill gave you this deduction? Is this the
The
BBB?
big beautiful bill. Yeah.
Okay. I would personally prefer 17 million low-income Americans to have access to health insurance than you being able to deduct the interest that you're paying on a car.
I wouldn't disagree with that health insurance is important, but we're not sure if we're going to see these huge cuts to health insurance like you're talking about. We understand that.
We are. The big beautiful bill is cutting $1 trillion for Medicaid. This is cutting millions of people off just because those cuts to Medicaid are going to cause massive increases in premiums, and low-income Americans just simply won't be able to afford them. We're also going to be seeing people cut off of Medicaid because of the new work requirement that's never been imposed on Medicaid before. We're going to be seeing people cut off of food stamps because the federal government is reducing their expenditure by $156 billion, meaning more of that bill has to be picked up by the state. And that's going to cut a lot of people off because some of our states, especially the red ones, just won't be able to cover the full bill. I would significantly rather low-income Americans have health insurance and access to food stamps than high-income Americans have some noticeable decrease in their after-tax income because you could write off the interest that you pay on your car. Like, that's really not going to be too much money unless it's an expensive car where you're paying a lot of money on interest, right? So, I mean, basically what you're telling us here is that you support Robin Hood for the rich, taking away healthcare and food stamps from low-income Americans. So we could alleviate, the tax burden of higher-income Americans that are willfully purchasing more expensive vehicles.
I can appreciate what you're saying. I can. But I want to point out one thing. I'm not rich. I'm definitely not rich. I'm a middle income earner in the United States. So the majority of the people that are like me are going to see a benefit from this bill. While I agree that there could be some loss when it comes to, insurance and that kind of thing for Medicaid, I've got people that might be affected in my own family. I hope that we're able to help them. But we're talking about individuals, people that are going to need this help. There's a lot more of us. And I'm not heartless in that sense. I understand what it could.
I have a question. What year was the car that you bought? What year was it made?
It was made in 2024, but I bought it in 2025.
Well, guess what? So this deduction only will allow you to claim a deduction on the interest paid on American-made vehicles from 2025 through 2028. So unironically,
that's not correct, sir.
That is.
No, that's not correct.
No,
it's
it is
not,
true. This is coming from Fortune.com. I'm going to go ahead and give you my source. So all
Oh
that
no,
I want you
okay.
to go,
I have the source too.
all
But
I
it
want you to
says
go
if,
is
wait,
all I
wait,
want.
let me
No,
finish
no.
because
You're interrupting me. All I want you to go and
I didn't
do
get to finish
is to
my
go on
sentence.
Google, type in Trump's
I think
BBB could
I
help
think
you
all you want
deduct
to
your
do is
auto.
just argue with
Just
people
go on
because
Google,
we could talk about all the
sir,
benefits that Trump is doing,
sir.
but you're not talking. All you want to talk.
I'm
Your
giving
source is not accurate.
you my source.
Fortune.com is not
Go
accurate. The
on
bill says if you buy
Google,
it in
type. Okay.
2025 and the car was built in 2024, it's covered.
Where does
That's
it
what
say
it
that in the
says.
bill?
That's what I don't have the bill in front of me, but that's what it actually says. If you go in and look at
So,
what it says,
right,
it says if you
where in
bought,
the
if the
bill?
listen to me just a second. If the car was built in 2024, but it was brand new and purchased in 2025, which mine was, it was the first time owner of the vehicle. It can covered for up to 4 years. That's what it says.
Okay, where?
So
Where does it say that in the bill? Because I have a source that indicates otherwise.
you have a source. Your source is not giving you all the correct information because it's not telling you specifically.
Right, and that's why I'm asking for your source to tell me where the specifics can be
Well,
found.
I don't have it in front of me like you do. I'm not in front of my computer, sir. I apologize. I have a life. But what I'm trying to do is talk to you about this a little
so
bit.
let's
because I wanted to
scrutinize
show.
Dean for having evidence. Unfortunately,
I wanted to. It's not. I mean, I respect your source. I don't have it in front of me. I'll read your source, and if I'm incorrect, I respect that. So
I just want
my
to clarify:
thought
if
is-
you don't have any evidence to demonstrate that what
I
you're
do-
saying, sir, if you don't have any evidence to demonstrate that what you're saying is true to me, why should I believe you?
Well, it's the same thing for you because, like I said, I don't know what your source is. Fortune.com is not.
I was trying to read you off the source, and you wouldn't.
I don't
let
want to hear your. I don't want you to read the source because you're looking for kind of a gotcha moment because you think you have something. I was talking about the
Right,
benefits
precisely.
of the bill.
I have a source. You don't want me to give you. I just want to clarify.
You can quote- you can quote
One
the source all day,
second.
but it
So I just
doesn't
want to clarify
change
that where we're at right now is I have a source, but you don't want me to give you my source. You don't have a source, but I want you to give me your source. Okay.
Okay,
Whose
I don't have
position
it in
is
front
more
of me,
reliable?
but I'll be glad to send it to you when I can follow
Whose
up. when I'm-
position
when
is
I'm-
more reliable as is? The person with a source compared to the person without the source? The person that wants a source from you compared to you not wanting a source from me? Who's more reliable?
Well, if in your mind you think you're more reliable because whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, what
Because
what,
at the end of the day,
what if I told
we
you I
had
could
an
find another
opportunity to
source?
vote. We had an opportunity to vote.
Wait. What if
You're
I
talking
could,
about a
what,
top line. I'm
what if
talking
I
about
could?
the
I
specifics.
actually found another source for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this is coming from Forbes. Sorry. So you could go on Google and type in Forbes, car loan interest tax break, who qualifies under the big beautiful bill, or you could go on Google and you could type Fortune. Donald Trump's BBB could help you deduct your auto loan, but it has to be a new car made in the USA. Here's what else you need. So now we're actually seeing this information that you could only write off the interest paid
You're
on
not
an
talking
American-made
about the
vehicle
rest
this
of it. You
year
stop
or
when we
2028
talk about being
from
a brand new
Forbes
car.
and from Fortune.
Fortune and Forbes they're right. Yeah, I read the bill. I know what it says. But look, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one because I've already talked to my accountant about it, so I know what I've got going. Because the car.
I'm
only
now
had
giving
16
you
miles on it when
two
I bought it.
sources, and you've given me zero.
Your sources are really crap because it's mainstream media.
Dude, yeah, for sure. So we should never trust Forbes. We should never trust Fortune. We should never trust any of these things,
I didn't
even if
say
they're
we should
reporting,
never trust
even
it.
if they're
I can't-
reporting the same exact thing.
Because you stopped reading on the top line. You're not reading into the specifics of the bill.
I read through the totality of these articles.
Okay, so what does it say about a car that was brand new in 2025 that had never been purchased before?
So a brand new vehicle made in 2025 is the first year of a vehicle that you could deduct. These articles are specific. They quite literally say, and I quote, made in 2025. Oh, and by the way, the only vehicles that qualify for this are, let's see here. So, what I have a question. What kind of car did you buy?
A Ford, an American car.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that your Ford will even qualify for this since they make their engines in Canada, fun fact. According to Forbes, the cars that we'll see qualify here are going to be out some models from Nissan and Toyota, but once again, they have to be made in 2025 to 2028.
Okay. Whatever. The point is that there's going to be people that see benefit from this. And I really,
there's
listen,
going
I'm
to be
honest
a
with you.
couple people that will be able
I'm
to
gonna
say,
be honest with
no,
you.
listen to what I'm saying here.
like-
Listen to what I'm saying here.
I
There's
like
gonna
to
be,
debate.
just listen to what I'm saying here, please. There's going to be a couple people that will see some very small benefit from this, of being able to deduct the interest that they're paying on their brand new fucking car. I have a question. Who buys brand new cars?
I bought a brand new car this year.
Who buys brand new cars?
I bought a brand new car this year.
That's not what I asked you. Who typically buys brand new cars?
Well, you said who buys brand new cars, and I said I did. I can only speak for myself.
So typically, the people who are buying brand new cars are going to be people with a lot of fucking money. Okay, typically speaking, that's the trend that we see. The more typical financial advice to the average American: if you need a car, buy it a couple of years old so you could, we'd pass the first 3 years of major depreciation. And most people either follow that rule because they want to be financially responsible, or because they just simply don't have enough money to buy a new car. It's not financially responsible for them. And what we see here is this will just benefit a very small handful of most likely rich people on the backs of the millions of low-income Americans who are going to lose access to healthcare and food stamps. I think it's an incredibly privileged, wacky, and apathetic take to say that you support Donald Trump as president because he's going to offer a small tax cut to some people buying brand new cars at the expense of this bill costing $5 trillion and taking healthcare away from 17 million.
Well, in the United States,
Americans.
we have elections, and the election happened in November, and Donald Trump won, and that makes him the president. And whether I support him or not, or whether you support him or not, is really irrelevant because he's still the president of the United States. And in the United States, we'll have an opportunity to vote in 2 years, and we'll see where the economy is then, and we'll have our midterm elections if we get that opportunity. I'm hoping that we do. I actually don't support Donald Trump, but I want to debate with you and be a different side and have a conversation with you and try to talk about another side and give a respectful conversation about the.
I don't believe
about
you.
the
I don't
other
believe you.
side.
I think
It
that
doesn't
this is
matter
hope.
if you can look at my post. Every single post is against Donald Trump. I wanted to get on here with you and have a conversation that was respectful because the last guy was not respectful, and I wanted to try to talk about a different point and see things from the other side. There's a lot of people that like Donald Trump. There's a lot of people.
Cool, bye. We're just looking to talk to Trump supporters. Anyways, I think that was just cope. I'm not going to lie. I think that was just totally cope. I mean, he gets his point demolished, and then he says, well, if we support or not support Trump, it's totally irrelevant. And then he starts talking about how apparently he doesn't. I hear cope. Welcome in. What's going on? Josh, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do, but I
Age,
don't want to
please?
debate. But
Sorry, I kicked them off before they had a chance to respond. So I think that was very obviously a child. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute here while we're loading the next guest up. They have a little bit of an echo, as well as they're also a child, so we got to kick them. Okay, everybody that wants to join the queue, the rules are as follows. Make sure that you are an American adult, meaning at least 18, an American meaning that you are an American citizen, that supports Trump and that's ready and willing to come up here and have a conversation with me. Those are the people that we are looking to talk to. If you come up here in violation of those rules, you'll get kicked. So let's go ahead and get that next guest, Michelle Taylor, loaded into the live. While Michelle is loaded in real quick, I'd like to thank Raquel for the $5 over on PayPal saying happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Raquel. Then Leonard with the $5 saying fight the anti-Dean propaganda. Honestly, we're winning the war. Thank you for the $5. I do really appreciate you so much for your kindness. And then Christina, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on PayPal. They say, I'm Christina, and I appreciate what you're doing to hold those fuckers accountable and to attempt to educate the country. Please keep going. We need you to continue your tireless pursuit. Christina, I really appreciate you so much for being here today, for your incredibly kind message and your $25 donation. Show some love to Christina down below, y'all. As well as Daniel, thank you for the $17 from Germany, saying keep up the fight against fascism. Dude, appreciate you for the love, Daniel. Thanks for tuning in all the way from Germany. You are awesome. And welcome in, Dunphy. Do you support Trump? Dunphy left as well. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you want to skip the queue and just come right up onto the stream. Obviously, we have a lot of people who are in the queue that shouldn't be in the queue. A lot of people that just join then leave. So I feel like it'd be very beneficial if you just started spamming MAGA in the chat if you want to skip that line. Well, we got the next guest, Molly, loading up. Jocelyn, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, saying thanks for the daily entertainment. You're doing important work. Thank you for the love, Jocelyn. As well as Lillian with the $10, saying therapy for snowflake crash outs.
No, you're
Everybody's
totally good.
crashing
My
out
friend's
today.
been so slow
Oh,
today.
hi, Molly. You're on the
It's
live.
not your fault. I'm always like, I'm so sorry, but
Okay, I don't think that Molly knows that she's on the live, so we're going to get a kicker.
Life's too short to complain about anything.
Why can we still hear her? There we go. She's gone now. All right, we're going to kick Molly and move on to the next guest. Do let me know if you'd like to come up down below in that chat. Obviously, you know, the queue is going to be a little bit silly willy, so it's going to help to be pulling up people from the comment section instead. What's up, Charlie? How old are you? See, Charlie's not even here. Hey, Andrew. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Yourself.
I'm doing
Hello?
all right. I'm doing all right, man. Do you support Trump?
I sure do.
Dude, why do you support Trump?
Why wouldn't I, man? He's done a hell of a lot for our country.
What time is it?
What?
What time is it?
Is this some kind of weird, stupid question? Are you gonna try and get me with it?
Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. Everybody go to Jump a Maga down below in that chat with your AGL. We're going to get that next guest loaded into the live stream. Make sure that you are from America. Everybody follow the rules. It would be very kind if you guys could please follow the rules. Let's go to get that next guest, Jaden Mitchell, loaded into the live stream. Here we go, everybody. Do just kind of give us a minute and be patient while we're working on that next guest, DJ D. Dude, say Ted, I appreciate it. What's going on, Jaden? Do you support Trump?
A little bit, for the most part.
For the most part, how old are you?
20.
20. You're the same age as me, man. Well, hey, man, let's have a conversation about why you support the man, the myth, the failure. Quickly, before we do hop into things, there's one more person I'd like to thank here. This just came in from Claudia 17 seconds ago over on Venmo. Claudia says, snacks for energy to keep crushing it. Foxtrot Delta Taco. Appreciate you for the love, Claudia. Let's get 150 Claudia W's down below. And welcome in, Shane. Are you MAGA? Oh, Shane's all over the place. Shane, are you there, man?
Big dog.
I don't. Shane, what's going on, dude? Do you support Trump?
What's going on? I do.
You do? Okay. Well, you got a lot of noise going on. So if you could hold your phone and like not have it.
Yeah, you know what? Give me 1 minute to rejoin. I'm gonna grab my headset here. Give me 1 minute.
I'll just mute you and I'll let this other guy talk. Take your time. Don't leave the live. It'll be hard for me to refine you. I'm just gonna put you on mute. Feel free to come back whenever. Mr. Jaden, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
I guess the beginning, the whole debate in the elections, was there not an attack? Was there not shit that kind of proved the point that he was a targeted individual? I mean, he got shot at. Granted, I mean, in 20, you are a bit more.
So I don't think that somebody shooting at him gives you any motivating reason to vote for him as president.
Fair play, but look at Ronald Reagan.
Okay. When we look at Reagan, what do we see that's relevant to you describing why you support the current President Trump?
He's a Republican. He got shot and he won the election. That kind of, you're right. Shot myself in the foot there because you could use that to win the election. But that's the thing. You'd be more informed, not built.
So why specifically do you support him as president, man? Take it away.
No idea.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, hey, you're in the right place. Just watch the live, man. Hopefully, you'll be able to change your mind. We still got Shane up here. Once again, Shane, your mic is muted. Feel free to unmute your mic whenever you're ready to hop into the debate. I'd love to have a chat. Obviously, I'm going to let you unmute yourself because it sounds like you got a lot going on there. So take your time. We're going to get another guest up here in the meantime. So everybody just do be patient while we're working on loading that next guest user into the live. Quickly, Sharon, thank you for the $10 super chat over on YouTube. Sharon, you are phenomenal. Thank you so much for the love. By the way, if you're watching and you want to support me, you want to support the stream, you want to support what we do here, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pinned message over on that YouTube stream. Get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms. They go straight to me. As well as you could add your name in any message that I will read off on live. And what is up, user? Do you support Trump? All right, user is not here. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Let us know down below in that chat if you want to load into the live and have a conversation with me. We are looking for one Trump supporter. Honestly, I cannot... Oh, it looks like Shane just left too. I cannot believe how hard it is for us to find Trump supporters on this live. I mean, we have 11.2 thousand people watching right now. Why is this such a difficult, daunting task to find one person that supports Trump? What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Hey, Parker.
That is a very small child. Like I said, Matt, guys, it is a very daunting task to find somebody that supports Trump, that is willing to come up here and have a conversation with us. I mean, like, truly, it's difficult. I don't know what to do here. Is there anybody watching that wants to come up and have a conversation? Or is there just simply a significant lack of support for Trump that it's impossible to find anybody that supports him anymore? Jonah, thank you for the motorcycle over on TikTok. We got Michelle loading in. While Michelle's loading in, Olivia, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on PayPal. Olivia says, rewatch your debate with Emily today because I needed to watch you destroy Trumpers and you weren't on yet. Oh, dude, those debates are nasty. With Emily, oh my goodness gracious. What a time I had debating her. Oh my goodness gracious. Probably one of the crazier, 2 hour streams of my life. Those are some crazy conversations. Thank you so much for the $25 donation, though, Olivia. I really do appreciate your kindness as well as your generosity. If we could show some love to Olivia down below in that comment section, that would be phenomenal. Let's get 250 Olivia W's. What's going on, Micah? Do you support Trump? Okay, that's going to be a child. We're going to move on to the next guest. Please, guys, only hop in that queue if you support Trump. Go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in the comment section as well. Looking for anybody to come up here and have a debate. It's proven incredibly difficult. Moving on to Scott and Ari. Don't worry, guys. Continue to spam MAGA down below in that comment section. We're going to get you loaded up in here, so everybody just do be patient. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Scott?
I'm drinking my shit.
Okay, goodbye, Scott. Everyone, just give us a minute to find one person to come up here and have a conversation with us. We see Ryan in the comment section says I love Trump, so we'll invite him up here. We see Kaylee down below in that comment section, spam MAGA. All right, let's go to move on to the next guest. We got Kaylee loading in. Hi, Kaylee. How old are you?
I'm 18, turning 19. I was born in 2006, August.
Okay, phenomenal. You got a little bit of a muffled mic, man. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump. Just to be clear, I'm a permanent resident, so I didn't vote in the last election.
Okay, so you're a permanent resident. Why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because I understand his views on immigration. Because trust me, the places I've seen some crimes happen in front of me. A lot of these crimes come from illegal migrants. So I really understand him trying his best to protect his people. For example, now, you're a white person, you want the best for your country, true or false?
I want what's best for this country, and I know what's worse for
Yes.
this country is misinformation. What you just said is misinformation. Undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes, property crimes, and petty crimes when compared to citizens. Like that last one-liner that you just tried to give us, that they're committing all these crimes and that they're just so bad, is completely fucking false. And you know what? When we do a mass deportation, we can see economy which increases poverty, which also increases crime. So unironically, not only are you just opening in our conversation with misinformation, but this misinformation, ironically enough, will inevitably increase crime once the administration follows through with the mass deportation. Okay, so he actually just left. Maybe I need to not go so hard. What should I do instead? Because what he said was false, and I want to be able to address that. But I feel like when I address it so heavily like that, it just causes the guest to automatically leave. Do I maybe need to give them a little bit of slack and, try to give them a couple ways out so they don't just leave, so they don't feel cornered? I don't know. What's going on, Jeep? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Jeep, how old are you?
50.
50, okay, Jeep. Oh my God.
Can I tell you why?
1 second. In 1 fucking second. Because Jay just donated $400 over on YouTube Super Chat. I can't even believe it. That is insane. Can we get 4,000 JWs in the comment section of the live stream right now, everybody? I can't. Dude, Jay, thank you for the love. Show some love to Jay in that comment section. Jay says, I watched a video today by Adam Mockler wherein it was disclosed that Kara City, Texas received $10 million in 2021 from the American Rescue Plan that they could have been used on a flood warning system. They did not want the money because it came from Biden, but did not return it. At least it might go to a blue state. Dean, what are we becoming? Well, first and foremost, Jay, once again, thank you so much for the crazy-ass donation of $400. And I know what video you're referring to. I've seen it myself, where all the town leaders are like, we don't want this money because it comes from the terrible authoritarian Biden regime. Send it back. I've seen that too. It's absolutely disgusting. And you're right, that money could have been spent on something such as a flood warning system. We are becoming a country of misinformation, propaganda, and baseless hate and vitriol on the basis of party lines for no other reason but to support a narrative, more so one man that wants everything, including the authoritarian power to do whatever he wants. And It's a dystopian nightmare. Jay, thank you once again for the $400 donation. We're going to go and hop into this next debate. But seriously, if you guys could show some love to Jay down below in that chat while we are, that would be phenomenal. Mr. Freaky Ass User, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
All right. How old are you?
19.
19. What year were you born in?
2007.
2007? I'm not quite
Fuck,
sure that
okay,
you
never
can be
mind.
19 in 2007. They just left. All right, everybody. It's been around 20 minutes since our last debate. I would really appreciate it if you guys would just be kind and stop breaking the rules so we could hopefully have a productive conversation. When you guys just break the rules, it unfortunately... it just stalls the live and it makes it impossible for us to have conversation. So if you happen to be one of the 11,000 people watching on TikTok, I'd really appreciate you if you would double tap on that phone screen for me. It'd really help. Also, make sure that you are sharing out this live with a handful of friends, everybody. Let's go and get that next guest, Levi, loaded up into the box. While we do, Kate, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Kate says, this country is a dark and scary place, but what you do gives me hope for change for the better. Keep it up, Dean. Thank you, Kate. Let's show some love to Kate. As well as Claudia with the $15 as well, saying, thank you once again, Claudia. I thanked you earlier. And then Will with the $5 on Venmo, and Ariana with the $10 saying, keep on being you. Thank you, Will and Ariana. Show some love to Will and Ariana down below in that comment section. Thank you guys so much. And welcome in, Levi. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, that is a child. I'm begging you guys to follow the rules. I don't know what to say. I don't know what I need to do or what I need to say to just get debates. We're not a daycare. We seriously do just want some conversations, everybody. What is going on, Colt? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you come a little bit closer to your mic?
Yes, hold on. I'm gonna go to the quieter area.
There you go. That's much better, man. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Phenomenal. Well, take it away, man. Tell us why you support Trump.
Well, I support his opinion on DEI. I don't agree with DEI in the slightest.
Okay, it sounds like you really do have something going on with your mic here. Do you have any type of Bluetooth device connected? Do you have a phone case on? Is there anything in between your mouth and your mic?
I can take it off. I'm gonna try.
I don't know. Let's try it, man. There's a little bit of feedback here.
Okay, this should be better.
That actually is. That is a lot better. I have a question I'd like to ask you here. Do you agree with Charlie Kirk with the traditional family structure of having a man go out into work and a woman stay at home and raise the kids? Is that something that you agree with?
Not typically. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not.
All right, well, then that critique won't work. That critique won't work. So, Colt, what do you think DEI is?
I think it is unfair to the poor white families that are also there definitely is an argument on repaying them for the hundreds of years we've tormented them, but at the same time, I never did any of that, and I don't think they should have a better chance of getting into college than me.
Getting into college, so affirmative action. And you said that affirmative action disparages poor white families?
Not disparages, but I think it's unfair.
Really? Who benefits from affirmative action the most?
I think black people and other minorities.
No, see, that's what the right wants you to believe, because they want you to be able to point at any black person in a position of power in school, work at a job, etc., and say they didn't earn it, they were given it because of their race. It's more racism. Because in all reality, it's not black people that benefit from affirmative action the most. It's not Hispanic people that benefit from affirmative action the most. It is white women who benefit from affirmative action the most. Fun fact. And affirmative action no longer exists. I'm pretty sure it was ruled as unconstitutional by SCOTUS a handful of years ago.
Okay, so why does it benefit white men over women?
Can you repeat that for me? Once again, your mic is really bad.
Why does it benefit?
There's something going on with your mic here.
I'm just moving around. I'm sorry.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2006.
And you said that you're 18. What month?
September. Gotta be 19.
Yeah, that maths. Okay. So could you just define DEI for me?
Diversity, diversity, equality, and inclusion.
You don't even know what DEI stands for. And then can you give me a scenario of DEI that's obviously bad that Donald Trump has ended?
I don't know if he's ended it, but the Harvard test scores for Asians and white people.
Harvard test scores for Asians and white people. So what does this have to do with the DEIA?
It's easier to get into Harvard if you are black because you can get.
You're talking about affirmative action, right?
Yeah.
Once again, I've already described to you that no, it's actually easier to get into Harvard through affirmative action if you're a white woman. That's not true. And affirmative action was ended years ago, before the election. I don't know why you're talking about affirmative action at all.
Because of affirmative action, it would still be taking place if Kamala Harris was voted into office.
It stopped taking place when Kamala Harris was in office. What are we doing?
All right.
And if you want to act like you care about college students, no, you fucking don't. Because what did the big beautiful bill did? It revoked Pell Grants for around 1/3 of recipients. It is defunding student aid for college students. It is making it harder for poor white families and disproportionately harder for poor black families and poor families that come from oppressed, marginalized communities to go to college by revoking federal student aid. So funny fucking enough, your one critique that you came up here with saying, oh, the poor white families, unironically, they'll have it harder to go to school, disproportionately so, because of Donald Trump's big beautiful bill revoking some forms of student aid, such as the Pell Grant for 1/3 of recipients.
I understand. I do not agree with the big beautiful bill.
Okay, well, I mean, that's doing exactly what you described as something that you wanted to end, thereby supporting your vote for Trump. But now you figured out that affirmative action ended under Biden because SCOTUS ruled it as unconstitutional, and Donald Trump is truly the one that disproportionately wants to make it harder for poor families to go to college.
I will agree with it is definitely harder to get into college now than it was 3 years ago.
Okay, so therefore you shouldn't support Trump.
Well, it's not just DEI either, and I don't think the big beautiful bill was successful at all. I think there's only a few points on there that he actually hit the nail on, but I definitely think there is some.
Okay, so why do you support him then?
Because I think he's making America better than it would be.
This mic is just sending me for a whirl. So, did you vote for Trump in the election?
I didn't vote.
Why not?
I wasn't.
Okay. I don't know why the chat is saying that you're 17. Chat, feel free to provide the evidence that he's 17. I'll happily kick him if he is. No, you said he was 18 in the birth date that he gave lined up with that. Do you promise that you're 18?
I promise.
Okay. I mean, then the answer to the question of if you voted lines up. He'd left. Okay, bye. Fuck you. Okay, shit. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute. We're going to get Chris loaded into the box. What is going on with these guests today? Chat, we've been live for an hour. In the last 58 minutes, have we had a solid debate with anybody? I don't think we've had a solid debate with anybody. Yeah, I can, man. What's up, Chris? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, man.
Okay, how old are you?
It was 43.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you're good. You're over 18. Do you happen to have any type of Bluetooth device connected to your phone that you're speaking through, like a headphone, AirPods, etc.?
I'm speaking through my Bluetooth right now. Is it not good enough?
Yeah, if you could disconnect that Bluetooth for me, your mic will be significantly better. And while you're doing that, Meg, thank you for the $12 over on YouTube. They say my partner and our baby and I have a nightly routine of tuning in every night as we settle down for bed. We look forward to watching you every night and are grateful for your voice and speaking up. Thank you, Meg, and shout out to Meg and Meg's partner and their child. And that does sound significantly better, man. Let's go ahead and hop into the debate. After, real quick, I just need to thank Stacy for the $25 donation on Venmo and Desiree for the 10. Thank you, Stacy and Desiree. You guys are awesome. Everybody, show some love to Stacy and Desiree down below in that comment section. And Mr. Chris, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
I support him because he's not a traditional politician, man. And I think it's important that we recognize that.
All right, not a traditional politician. I think that he's worse than the traditional politicians. I want to ask you a question. So, I mean, you're 43. You've been following Trump for a while. Also, you're old enough to know about Epstein and all that. I mean, how do you feel about the Epstein files?
I think the sentence that the guy made was taken completely out of context. I think he had said something about, I don't know the exact wordage, but somebody had mentioned they said they may have a list or something like that.
The
Is
client
that right?
list? Yeah, Donald Trump said that he was going to release
Yeah,
the client list. I could give you reporting from the Telegram, as well as other right-leaning news sources from like September of last year that says he was going to release the client list. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, like did you expect him
So
to
there-
release the
so-
client list? Did
so
you
there-
expect him to release the files?
I don't. I mean, honestly, man, I don't even know if there is one.
Oh, you don't even know if there is one. I mean, JD
That's
Vance.
that's
JD Vance
that's
said there
internal
was one
stuff,
3
man,
weeks
that I don't
ago.
know anything about. You know what I mean?
JD Vance said there was a client list 3 weeks ago. He was talking to Theo Vaughn on his podcast, and he said that we need to release the list. I mean,
Yeah.
Trump said
Okay.
last year in September that if he's elected, he's going to release the list. Pam Bondi said she had the list on her desk.
Then he should probably release it then.
And then Trump's son gave a whole speech about the list and how we need to release that to stop protecting, you know, like the deep state Democrats. Now, what if I told you that yesterday Donald Trump said that the Epstein files were a Democrat hoax made by Obama?
I couldn't give you a conclusion on what I think about that.
Why
Man,
not?
there's a lot of things that, you know, we read in the news, whether they're good, what's the word I'm looking for? Good sources or bad sources. You know this. And then there's things that I think fall under like internal workings of the government. And I think a lot of that stuff, it's kind of like, it's like some legal stuff, man, you just can't release publicly.
Well,
But
they said that they were going to release them. I'm going to go and give you an argument. I want you to tell me why it's wrong. So I think that Trump's name is written all over them. I mean, think about it. You had Elon Musk say that he was in the Epstein files, and then you had the Trump administration promise to release them, but never release them. I mean, you had J.D. Vance, his vice president. You had Pam Bondi, his attorney general. All say that this client list exists. And now, like at first, the Trump administration said like 3 days ago that the client list didn't exist. But then Donald Trump went on Truth Social yesterday and says that these files actually do exist, contradicting that messaging, just saying that they're a Democrat hoax.
I would say
I
this
think that
about
Trump's name is just written all over these things. What are your thoughts?
I would say this about it. I would say if that's the case and there's enough incriminating evidence or whatever, then the FBI needs to look into it. But that's not something I have power over. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm getting at here is Donald Trump made a promise. He said he was going to release the files. He didn't follow through with that promise, and now he's saying that the files were made by Democrats and that the client list does exist, but maybe doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Democrat hoax, or maybe it doesn't exist at all. I mean, we're seeing like Trump supporters turn on Trump very hard right now. Hundreds of thousands across the country. You know, like for instance, let me give you an
I
example
understand.
here. You know, like Tyler Plus on Truth Social says to Trump, "Mr. President, you did make the promise to release them, just saying." L. Milford says, "You were losing too many in your base. Have an aide collect what we're saying on social media. You need to listen to us. You need to release the files." Lighthouse on Truth Social, another Trump supporter, says, "Sorry, this isn't holding water. Girls were used and abused by this man and many other. They need to pay the price."
So
AJ
public
says,
outcry, more or less.
AJ says, "Read the room. You need to release these files or be fired. We expect transparency." Grumpy Deplorable, another Trump supporter, says, "Sorry, Mr. President, not buying it. Downplaying this without disclosing the truth of Epstein, Island, and Ghislaine locked up for a supposedly non-existent issue, etc. It's all gone too far to dismiss. Let the complete truth come out." And you know, Donald Trump is now going back and forth saying that these files don't exist, and now saying that they do exist, but they're a Democrat hoax.
Yeah, no, I hear that, man. It's the public outcry stuff. Like I would say this about it, with as well as like the FBI thing. If whoever, you know, on either side, people need to be held accountable. You know what I mean? And I don't care if it's a Democrat, I don't care if it's a Republican, you know, who brings those things to light or gets the wheels moving on that. But if there's incriminating evidence, you know, like I think this is the way I would view it. If I was a politician, there's always going to be somebody somewhere, you know, screaming about something. So while I do think public outcry is important and you need to listen to people. I think that's something that needs to be internally investigated by either party. I would be fine with that, man. You know what I mean?
Okay, so even in lieu of all those facts, do you still support Trump?
I do.
Okay, why?
I mean, it's
because the first reason that you gave me was he's not just this traditional politician, but even in the explanation that you just gave me, you said this is what politicians do. So obviously, I mean, this man is like worse than the traditional politician. So be specific here. Why do you support Trump?
It's the same reason as like he doesn't have a career in politics, man. I think
what does that do for us? Tell us what positive impact does it have on the American people? You can't say transparency. What were we just talking about? That is the less transparency thing ever. You can't say honesty. What we're just talking about. There's no honesty there. Plus the 30,000 lies he told during his first term. Like what positive are the American people reaping right now because Donald Trump isn't quote unquote a career politician? Tell me.
Here's the thing about it, man. It's like you work a job for 5, 10, 20 years and you're in the industry. You're going to see a lot of things and your behavior is going to change based on what type of work that you're in. And it doesn't matter if it's politics or, any other industry that we all work in down here, man.
And I'm sorry for cutting you off. You were just not giving me what I want. I want you to be specific. What positives are the American people reaping because of Trump's presidency?
Man.
Because apparently he's not a traditional politician.
I'm not just going to sit here and give you what you want the whole time. You know what I mean? Like that's what a productive conversation is.
All I want is a specific explanation of what pros the American people are reaping because apparently Donald Trump isn't a career politician that makes you support him.
He's able to give us the perspective that isn't a career politician. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a perspective that needs to be in office, whether it was Donald Trump or somebody else.
Give me an example of what that perspective looks like. You're being way too vague right now.
Somebody that hasn't been working in Washington for 20 or 30 years, man.
No, I'm literally asking you for a material, tangible example of a perspective, quote unquote, that Donald Trump has shared that a career politician wouldn't, that has made you support him.
I would say the way he approaches debates.
We're getting more specific, but we're still not all the way there because the way he approaches debates is still vague. What is the way that he approaches debates that makes you support him? Well, no, please. What is the way that he approaches debates that makes you support him?
The way he approaches debates that make me support him. It's not just the debate stuff. It's his public speaking, man. He's not exactly... I would say the best well-spoken individual. I would say the last one that I saw that was as well-spoken, as far as that's concerned with me, is Obama. He was very articulate. He made his points very easy to understand and relate to.
Yeah, Obama's one of the best public speakers that has ever lived.
Say that again?
I said Obama's one of the best public speakers that has ever lived. But us agreeing that Obama's one of the best public speakers that has ever lived still doesn't give me an answer to my question. You said that you support Trump because he's not a career politician. I said, well, what does that specifically look like? Then you said, well, it's the way that he approaches debates. Then I was like, specifically, how does he approach debates that makes you support him? Then you said, well, it's not just about debates, it's also about public speaking. So what is the specific way that he
like Obama
what is the specific way that he approaches public speaking that makes you support him?
Well, that's one right there. I mean, obviously, Obama has way more experience.
Obama shouldn't have anything to do with the answer to this question.
In public speaking and stuff like that, man. But that's the difference. I mean, if you can't tell me that you understand the difference between the way Donald Trump speaks publicly and Obama speaks publicly, that's
I definitely can understand the difference between the way Trump and Obama speak publicly.
That's what it is.
But those are all going to be cons about Trump.
You have a career politician who speaks and articulates clearly and does all these things, and then you have Donald Trump who doesn't have the experience of that because he hasn't lived.
But this is going to be a bad so you want a character from Looney Tunes on the mic? That's why you support him, to have some floundering embarrassment?
Oh, if we want to talk about
you
that,
support him because of how embarrassing it is when he speaks, all the lies that he tells? I just want to clarify. You support Trump because of how embarrassingly bad he is at speaking and all the lies that he tells.
So you don't think there's a difference between the way a politician talks and a normal blue collar middle classer?
Dude, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm going to go in and give you one last opportunity to just be clear about why you support Trump. everybody watching, is this guy being clear about why he supports Trump? Is this guy giving me an argument for me to respond to about compelling reason that exists to support the current president? So no, it seems like we're all in agreement.
You don't like my
not,
reason, and that's
I
fine.
just don't even understand
I'm
your
okay
reason.
with that.
You're not
I'm okay
clear
if you don't like my
you're
reason,
just
and I'm not
simply-
giving you the answer
You're
that
just
you
simply
want.
you're just simply not clear. So okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say I support Trump because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, and in those reasons, they're X, Y, and Z. I want them to be specific, and I want them to be compelling, and I want them to be clear, and I also want you to present this information in a manner, right, that I could respond to and debate, because this is a debate.
Dean, you're assuming that I'm this well-educated person that debates people all the time, and I'm just not, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm just assuming that you have the ability to present an argument. That's all. So what are those?
I have the ability to articulate
Yeah.
it.
So what are those
But if you're-
articulatable,
but if-
specific and
like
clear
you're
reasons why you
sitting,
support
you're
Trump?
sitting here telling me how to speak. You know what I mean? Like I don't talk like that, and I apologize if that doesn't work for you, man.
The reason I gave you those guidelines is because before I gave you those guidelines, you were just saying words. Okay, nothing made sense. So I'm trying to help you out here by like giving you these guidelines that maybe if you conform to, right, it would be clear to everybody watching why you support Trump. So,
Yeah, this
so
is the
last
best-
chance
this is the
here.
best.
Just give me the clear, articulatable reasons that I could address and respond to and tell you why I disagree.
The best way that I can articulate it, man, is like I said before. I support Donald Trump because he's not a traditional politician, and there's a lot of things that go with that. But it's like I haven't sat down here and made a list. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that, like, the Republican perspective is he's not a traditional politician, and that's enough for people. You know what I mean? If there was nothing else,
I don't even know what that means. Why is that good for the American people? What is he doing because he's not a career politician that helps this country move forward? How does it benefit this country? How does it serve the 350 million American constituents on this land? How does it further our goals as a nation? How does it make people happier? How does it increase things that are indicative of a higher quality of life? What does it do for the American elector base?
I think if you ask most Republicans that question, they couldn't really articulate it, man.
Okay,
It's
so you're
just that-
basically
it's
telling
just
me
that-
that you support Trump because of an unclear, unarticulatable reason, and you can't even tell me what he's doing good
And
for
those are
America.
your words, and that's fine.
So what is he doing that's good for America? What's your favorite Trump policy? Maybe that's a good question to start at. What's one policy of Trump's that you support?
Well, I don't look at policies and stuff like that, man. I have a degree of which I get involved in politics.
Okay, how about this?
Um,
How has Trump personally made your life better?
He hasn't, and he hasn't for a lot of people. That's like that with most
Okay,
presidents.
how
man.
about this
I mean,
specifically?
come on.
How about this specifically? How is he going to make the country better?
I think he has business acumen that most politicians don't.
Okay, well, that business acumen would be applied to his economic policy, and you don't know his economic policy, so that point regressed to nothing.
Sure.
Okay, so in other words, you can't name a policy of his that you like. You can't tell us how he's personally made your life better, and you can't tell us how either he has or will make the country better. You have no goddamn reason to support the guy. That's just it. In all reality, when I asked you why you supported Trump, your response should have been, I support Trump because I want to, not because I have
Dean,
any
my
reason to.
response should have been my response, and I respect your responses, and I would expect you to do the same to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, so because you literally have zero reason why you support Trump, Chris, I'm going to move on to the next guest. I hope that, you tune into the live. I think what is most likely is just probably a sense of like mob mentality, and more so the idea that, you're like socialized in a Republican environment where the people around you, maybe your spouse or your family members are Trump supporters, and you've just kind of lived in that environment for the last 10 years, and that's directed you to be MAGA. I hope that you watch the live because I want that to be a wake-up moment for you. You have no clear reason why you support Trump. You can't even tell me what he's doing to make your life better. At like the bare minimum, the least I expect out of a guest is to come up here and tell me what they're doing for them. You know what I mean? And you can't even do that. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute here. And oh my God, yo, Bear Bernard with a $200 super chat over on YouTube. Dude, Thank you, Bear Bernard. Bear Bernard says just a big thank you for being well-informed, articulate, and a competent leader in current affairs and political debate. Bear Bernard, that is literally so fucking kind of you. I do not deserve that at all. That is so much money. Can we please get 2,000 Bear Bernard W's in all of the live chats for the $200 super chat? Also, what I will say to anybody else that wants to support me, I would first, I'd ask you to consider supporting me on Venmo and PayPal if you do want to support me at all compared to like super chat or TikTok gifts. I only get around 30% of the super chats and 30% of the TikTok gifts. But no, seriously, Bear Bernard, thank you so much for the $200 super chat. Show some love to Bear down below, as well as Jeff with a $20 saying W to my grandmother who passed away yesterday and donated $500 to Planned Parenthood in her will. She also despised Trump. Can we all have a moment of silence for Jeff's fucking awesome grandmother? I'm not even joking. Shout out to your grandmother, Jeff. Thank you, everybody. Fucking W grandmother. And I'm so sorry that she passed away, man. I know that sucks, but sounds like she was an absolute queen. Welcome in, Josh. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
Sorry. It's lagging. 19.
19. Phenomenal. Are you driving? Okay, this person has too much lag. So we're going to kick them out and move on to the next guest. Everybody, I'm just getting like my mind tested today. And we're an hour and 20 minutes in. Not one argument yet. This is terrible. What's up, Stu? You support Trump?
Yeah, man.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born in?
2006.
You're going to be the first Trump supporter of the day to give me an argument here?
July 7th. Yeah, so I have I'm MAGA. I support Trump. And I wonder, every single day after you get off stream, do you let Parker fuck you in the butt and you moan really hard? Or
Jesus
is that
Christ, man. Listen, I understand that you're looking for information for the fanfic that you're writing. I know that you told, like the follower base that you were able to gain over there on what is it called? Where do you post the fanfics, everybody? I forget what it's called. There's a very specific name for that platform. What is that platform where they post the fanfics? Wattpad? I understand that you've gained a little bit of a following over on Wattpad and they're demanding that it's released like ASAP, right? And your creative juices are out. So, you just thought you'd come straight to the source to see maybe what my thoughts are for the fanfic that you're working on. Now, unfortunately, that's not something that we do. Feel free to just use your imagination, go wild. And, I hope that the audience over there on Wattpad ends up enjoying your writing. It is definitely a little bit weird, though, I will say. Definitely a little bit of a weirdo. Welcome in, Jordan. Do you support Trump?
Oh, hi there. I actually don't support Trump.
All right, see you later. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just do be patient. Put a MAGA down below in that chat with your age. We'll get you pulled up here. We got Karam loading into the live stream, everybody. Do be patient. Desiree, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Desiree says, I love how these stop these idiot Trump supporters with straight facts. Appreciate you for the love, Desiree. Hey, if anybody wants to get a message across to me or a message across to the live, feel free to support me on Venmo and PayPal, which you can find in the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. They're also super easy to find. You could attach your name and a message with your donation. That goes straight to me and I'll read it off. Similar to I have for all the people joining in. I also get a notification at the top of this phone screen, so I see it right as it comes in.
What?
What's up, Wesley? You support Trump? Okay, Wesley's not here. I wonder if we can make it to an hour and a half with no debates. We have 12 more minutes to go. Oh my goodness gracious. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Hey, what's up? It's B. It's Tim. Round 2. You know I support Trump.
We had a round 1?
We had a round. We had a round 1. I was the one that hit you up like 2 days ago and made you show your globe and proved that you actually been to protest and all that stuff. And I got you all fired up because I said you don't give any money to charity. You know it's me.
Oh, I remember you too. Yeah, Tim, you're a little crazy.
Don't say. Hey, I had a lot of fun, and honestly, I've listened to it since then, and I want to go again. I'm relaxed. I'm more relaxed since then. Thank you. Hey, thank you for subscribing to my YouTube and stuff as well. So let's get started. Round 2.
I didn't subscribe to your YouTube.
Yes, you did.
Okay, this guy's weird. Are you driving?
Okay, you did. But all right, let's go. I'm ready to go.
Just quickly, are you driving?
No.
Okay, I mean, I know that you're in a moving vehicle. Are you in the passenger seat?
I'm in the passenger seat, yeah.
Okay, could you just have the driver say hi real quick, just so we can ensure that you're not behind the wheel?
Yeah, hold on a second. Hey, baby, say hi. Hey. All's good, all safe.
Can you have them say hi again?
What?
Can you just have them say hi like one more time?
Okay. D, say hi. Why? Now you got my driver mad at me, but let's get started.
Tim, I would love to talk to you. You're obviously...
Don't dodge me.
Tim.
I'll pull over. Hey, I'll get him to pull over. Let's go right now. Hold on. I'm pulling over. I want this. This is really good. This is good for me, too.
Okay, pull over.
All right, I'm pulled over. Let's do it.
Damn it, he's actually pulled over. Okay, Tim.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, all right. Well, let's hop into debate real quick. Jay, thank you for the $20 over on the YouTube Super Chat. Also, dude, no need to explain yourself at all, Jay. Thank you so much for the love. Can we get 200 JWs down below in that chat for the $20 Super Chat? WJ's down below. Can we get a WJ from you, Tim?
WJ. I mean, the old me would have called you out right now, but you know, the new me, hey, you're doing some good things. Son, you're doing some good things. Let's go for round 2. Okay. So
why do you support Trump?
Well, let's say this. What's the definition of insanity? You know the definition.
Definition of it. I don't know the textbook definition. Let's see.
Well, what's that cliche? Doing the same thing.
So the textbook definition of insanity is the state of being seriously mentally ill.
Okay, and then when motivational speakers say it, they're like, "Hey, what's the definition of insanity?" They're like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. Have you ever heard that?
I have.
Okay, so I was hoping you were gonna say that, but yeah. So if I'd say, "Hey, why do you support Trump?" and I'm like, "All right, hold on a second, Dean, because earlier you did a great job talking about Obama, because I totally supported Obama, and you brought up some good points about how Obama treated the border control and stuff, and how much different it was. Correct? So
how
when I
Obama's,
came on,
okay, so Obama's deportation policy differed from Trump's. Get to the point, please.
Okay, yes. So when I came on the first time a couple of days ago, and you were like, "Why do you support Trump?" and I threw it at you, and I was like, "Where did we lose your vote?" and you said everything, and that was good. But okay, so let's just go with the border, because that's your main thing. That I love the border. That's what we're all going to be able to talk about. So you totally supported the way the USA and the government and the president was treating the border when Obama was president, correct?
No, incorrect.
Okay, so how do if Obama, if you and I jumped in a time machine right now and flew back, to when Obama was president, would you be like, what would you be saying the border should be done like? Because you said Trump.
Yeah,
because just earlier,
I could tell you, I'd advocate for Congress to pass policy to make the legal means of entry significantly easier to disincentivize undocumented entry. I'd also advocate for a stop of the deportation of immigrants without prior violent offenses or pretty crazy nonviolent criminal offenses, outstanding warrants.
They weren't doing that when Obama was president, were they?
I mean,
they weren't doing that.
They deported 3 million
according
people.
to you. According to you, though, 30. I've been in the queue waiting for 30 minutes.
My claim was that they focused on the deportation of individuals with nonviolent with violent prior criminal offenses. But just because it is true that they focused on that doesn't mean that those are the only individuals that they deported.
Okay. So so let's put a bookmark right there. So would you say that right about Obama was when it started going bad, or was it in Bush, or where did we go wrong? We went wrong with the border, at least, way before Trump, right?
I have critiques of bad decisions that presidents have made for decades. I critique Clinton for passing expedited removal. I critique every president since Clinton for the deportation of individuals that are that just want to work.
Hey.
I critique, but I really do critique Donald Trump strongly for his.
Why didn't you critique the first George Bush?
I wasn't alive.
Okay, so you just didn't study that, because you throw a lot of stuff out there about Reagan. You weren't alive for Reagan. You didn't.
I honestly, I only know a little bit about Reagan. I only know that Reagan did trickle down economics. And,
so I'm not. Yeah. I'm just trying. Hey, I'm trying to fill you out.
If you want to have a conversation about the first Bush or Reagan, I would highly implore you to go find.
I don't want to have a conversation.
Listen.
I just want to see.
Listen to me speak.
I want to see where the dent goes in.
Stop talking.
Stop.
Let me talk. So anyway,
you talk.
So
stop talking. You wanted a debate. You've been crying for a debate all day.
If you want to have a conversation about Reagan or the first Bush with a Democratic debater, go continue to scroll on your For You page and find some Democratic debater that is twice my age.
That's not where I'm going with that.
Okay, because we're here to talk about why you support Trump today.
So are you mad about the border, or are you mad about Trump's decisions on the border? Because obviously you're saying that the border is one of your biggest interests of talking on this platform. I mean, you kill it on that. There's no way someone can argue that Trump's not a pedophile. So, you know, all these guys that go on here and you're like, what about Epstein? Okay, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, he's a pedophile. And shit.
Wait, why do you support a pedophile's president?
I don't support a pedophile president either. But what I'm saying is,
you're a Trump supporter.
oh my God! Please don't do me like that dude earlier and say you try to turn the words and stuff. Let's leave the whole pedophile thing to the side for a minute.
Dude,
so what I'm saying is,
no, you just dunked on yourself. You come up here, you say that you support Trump, and then you say that Trump is a P3
Other than being a pedophile, stop, Dean.
Other than being a P3.
Dean, stop for a second. Other than being a pedophile,
why should we ignore that?
What you hate about Trump is that he fucks up the border, right? Now, you just said that no president since you've been alive has correctly handled the border. So I mean,
Tim, I gotta put you on mute, brother. We can't just gloss over the fact that you think the president you support is a P3. We cannot just gloss over that fact. That's insane. Okay, like, it's one thing to support him and not think he's a P3DO, but we're like in a whole other dimension the moment you said that you support him and you think he's a P3DO. I mean, we just went from like 0 to 100 real fucking quick. And we need to talk about that 100. Was Kamala Harris a P3DO? You gotta unmute yourself. Was Kamala Harris a P3DO?
I think my nose hit it. Listen, stop talking about pedophile. Let's get back to fixing the country. You hate the border. You say that every president since you've been alive cannot control the border. So I'm on here. I'm not on here to talk about pedophiles. I'm against it. You're against it. It's wrong. I'm on here to talk about the only smart, intelligent thing at this point that you can talk about. Because not you, but I'm saying, like, talking about pedophile is wrong. So if anyone comes on here and tries to defend that, they're an idiot. I want to talk about the border because that's your biggest strong point, is the border. But now you just said a couple minutes ago that you don't think any president has ever controlled the border. So unless, Dean, you can think outside the box, you have literally just said that you're smarter than every president that's been around since you've been alive. But at the same time, you have no idea about policies of presidents before you've been alive. So how are you this phenomenal border czar politician, but you don't, you get what I'm saying?
So I'll address the last
You get what
points
I'm,
first.
don't answer the question if you don't get what I'm saying. I'll say it again.
So
You get what I'm saying?
I think a big reason why we haven't seen politicians in Congress and in the Oval Office implement real, adequate, and true border and immigration solutions is because immigration is a tool that they could use to get more votes by scaring people into the enemy of undocumented immigrants or an open border. Okay. So I think that we just see. No, let me speak. I just let you yap. You're gonna let me speak.
That's because you were calling me a pedophile. I had to slap you back in shape and get you back in this political argument, not the shit that we're not going to argue about the Easter Bunny, Dean. Come on now. Let's talk about the border. All right. Continue, son.
You're just like so incoherent. Like, there's just not like a single like cell in your brain that's like functioning in accordance with like faculties of reason and logic. This is outrageous. So no, I didn't call you P3DO. You called Trump a P3DO. So I was like, why the fuck do you support somebody you think is a P3DO? And they're like, no, Dean, I'm not going to answer that question. Let's talk about something else. Okay, we were banned for a week for misinformation, bro. What? What was it banned for? I think it was maybe for calling Trump a P3DO. I know that one gets taken down a lot. That was probably it. That one does get taken. I don't think that we're going to get that account back. Unfortunate. Joshua, thank you so much for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. Joshua says, Tim's following list is pretty disgusting for husband and father. I can't stand the condescending tone in his voice. Clearly a soy boy. Well, Joshua's gone. I really appreciate... sorry, not Joshua. Tim's gone. But Joshua, I do really appreciate you so much for the $50 donation over on YouTube Super Chat. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Joshua. Okay, guys, what is your projected over-under on us getting the account back? I'm putting my money on that appeal getting denied. I've got misinformation bans in the past for either myself or somebody on the live calling Trump a pedophile. Those bans usually get rejected, so I think that account is gone. That account's going to be gone for a week. Somebody in the chat says approved. We'll see. Oh, then we got the one Trump supporter, Jeffrey, in the comment section spamming ha 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 ha. Unfortunate for you, Jeffrey, I have a very large network of other accounts that will be able to go live on in like 3 seconds if this appeal doesn't go through. I'm pretty unbothered by the bans anymore. It's honestly just something that I'm very used to at this point. We'll do a little bit of a Q&A while we wait to hear back on that appeal. We'll probably hear back in the next minute or two. Let's see. A lot of people saying approved. A lot of people saying denied. Yeah, what do you guys got your money on? Mr. Spencer, thank you for the $2 saying banned. Yeah, banned. Because a guest was calling Trump a pedophile. A Trump supporter was calling Trump a pedophile. Okay, we got Crazy 8 and Kalino celebrating in the chat down below. I can't wait for them to continue to watch the stream the moment this appeal gets either denied or approved, and then we rather go live on the main account or on some alternative. All right, a lot of people are predicting denied. Some people are optimistic, saying approved. Okay, so we submitted the appeal 2 minutes ago. We typically hear back in 5 minutes or less. So we haven't seen yet. Still waiting, everybody. Oh, dude, look at all these people without profile pictures just spreading misinformation. I don't know why they're doing that. Yo, Jacqueline, thank you for the $5 saying thank you for all that you do. I appreciate you so much for the love. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appeal submitted 3 minutes ago, still waiting to hear back. Approve the appeal. Yeah, we're manifesting approved. Yeah, everybody, let's just manifest it together. Okay, 3 minutes since we've heard back. Ooh. By the way, for everybody curious, right now we're just doing a little bit of a countdown. Waiting to see if that appeal on the ban goes through or not. Liz, thank you for the $50 donation over on Venmo. That is outrageous. Thank you so much for the love, Liz. That is so kind of you. Liz says, keep up the great work, guide. Liz, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for that, Liz. Can we get 500 Liz W's in that chat while we're waiting to hear back on the appeal? Liz, that would be like that's so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the $50 donation. Dude, I'm so grateful for you guys. I mean, like $50 is a shit ton of money. Truly, like so real. All right, we're gonna go and start a poll over on YouTube. Let's see. Will the ban appeal be approved? Let's see. All right, start poll. Give me your thoughts. Let me know. What are your thoughts? What's the over-under? What's the split? 4 minutes since I submitted it. Okay, we usually hear back in 4 minutes. Okay, so if I could vote, I'd vote no. Just saying. That's what I'd personally do. I don't think it will. But we also have to keep in mind, like, it wasn't automatically rejected. And typically when it doesn't get auto-rejected, it takes a while and it gets approved. Okay. There's a lot more people saying yes than no. Okay, we're at the 5 minute mark now since the account got taken down. We'll go ahead and wait another 5 minutes. And if we don't hear yet in the next 5 minutes, we'll go live on another account. And we'll check back tomorrow. Logan, thank you for the $5 over at Venmo. They say, what do you think about the Trump AI Superman poster the White House released? Literally go to that tweet of theirs. I ratioed them. Yes, I ratioed the White House on Twitter, everybody. So the White House put out a tweet saying the symbol of hope, truth, justice, the American way, Trump Superman. I responded and I said, delete this, holy fuck, this is cringe. My response has 134,000 likes. The original tweet has 78,000. I ratioed the White House on Twitter. I was probably like the kindest person that ratioed them. There's somebody else that ratioed them with quite the image. Quite the image and statement, let me tell you. All right, let's see. If you go live on a different account, what will it be able to be at, DNC team? Should we react to some news while we're waiting on the account to come back? Should we do something? Let's see. I'm going to go and open up YouTube and see what's going on. What should we react to? Give me some shit to react to in the meantime, y'all. We'll watch some content. See what happens when we type in Trump on YouTube. I mean, it just looks like it's all about what he was discussing yesterday. Sharon, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you so much for the love. It just looks like it's all like what Donald Trump was, what happened yesterday. With the whole Epstein file thing. I don't know. I'm interested in seeing what Fox News' spin on this is. I say let's watch what the Fox News spin on this is.
All right, this feels almost illegal.
I'm curious. Everyone give us a minute. We're going to watch the Fox News spin, y'all. Here we go, everybody. I will have no clue if the aspect ratio on this is good. Are we looking good? Honestly, I don't know. I think that we are. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch what Fox News has to say about Donald Trump saying that the Epstein files were a Democratic hoax. Always very curious to see what their spin is. I wonder if they'll even take a spin. Let's see.
Austin Westfall, a live look at the White House, where it's approaching 7 p.m. in the nation's capital. Some breaking news to get to. President Trump is defending his attorney general amid the Department of Justice's Epstein files criticism. President Trump posting a lengthy statement on his platform, Truth Social. I've got the entire thing in front of me here, just to give you an idea of how long this post is. That's what we're working with. I'm going to read the full thing. We were covering this last night, some of the internal disputes, if you want to put it that way, between Bondi and the FBI's Dan Bongino related to the Epstein files. This is what Trump said on Truth Social moments ago. I'm reading it verbatim. What's going on with...
Okay, it looks like they're just going to read it. I'm going to read it to you guys myself. I actually want to give you my thoughts on this. What is it? Like truthsocial.com. Oh, fucking hell. Truthsocial.com/real Donald J. Trump. I think this should bring me right to his page. Oh, it looks like I have to be signed up. Okay, Trump statement on Epstein. We'll just pull it up on Google. Let's see here. Go to images. Phenomenal. Where is it at? Truth Social. Give me a second here. All right. Still not finding it. That is great. Maybe, what are we doing in AI? There we go. I think we'll be able to find it on here. Where can I find the statement? Let's see here. I don't want to read somebody's reporting on it. Does anybody know where I could find the statement pretty easily? I just don't have to like sign into my Truth Social. Maybe on Times of India? Fuck Times of India, by the way. These people suck. No, it's not on there. Okay. I'm actually just going to read it off from my phone. That's what we'll have to do. Because I do have Truth Social on my phone. Let's take a look. I'm going to read off the whole statement to you guys, and then we're going to break it down. I'm not a man for conspiracy theories, and I never will be. But this post has definitely sparked a lot of conspiracy theories. So Donald Trump said last night, what's going on with my boys and in some cases, gals? Okay, first of all, crazy opener. That is an opener for, like, that's a generational opener. He says, they're all going after the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the attack of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier, and used it on me. So now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why don't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there's anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much of a success we've had, securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy independence, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it is not enough for some people. We're about to achieve more in 6 months than any administration has achieved in over 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving the country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel, the FBI, must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, and the rigged and stolen election of 2020, arresting thugs and criminals, instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she's looking into as AG, and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Keep it that way, and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. That's not proper grammar from Trump there. Somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for the attention on this matter. So my takeaway after reading this very lengthy message here is basically that the Democrats created the Epstein files and they're all fake, and we just need to stop giving any attention to them. How am I supposed to interpret this in any other way than he's just obviously implicated? I don't know. Well, we won't say it definitely. I don't think that we have enough evidence yet. But what I will say here is that why would he be calling these documents fake if they didn't indict him in any negative way? Right? Because every single time we've seen Donald Trump call something fake news, fake media, right? It's always when the news is reporting on a story that makes him look bad. Fake judge, fake criminal justice system, when the criminal justice system has done something that makes him look bad. Fake Epstein files? Does this tell us that the Epstein files make him look bad? Is this him foreseeing a future where ultimately the FBI does release whatever they have and they have his name on it? I don't know. Nobody knows. But it's definitely not a good look. Not at all. Okay. It has been 14 minutes since we submitted the appeal over on TikTok. I'm going to go ahead and shoot that off to my team. My team is going to submit an appeal on the back end. I don't think that we're going to get that back today, so we are now going to go live on one of our backup accounts. At its Dean Week ban. Can you submit an appeal? Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yo, Kashila, I apologize, first of all, if I'm mispronouncing your name. Second of all, thank you for the $50 super chat. They say, keep up the great content, Dean. Truly educational, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your kindness. Everybody show some love to Kashila down below. Thank you so much. As well as Julia with the $10 saying, hi, Dean. I just want to know if you've spoken about Marcelo Gomez. He's an 18-year-old boy who was taken into ICE and came to America when he was 3 years old. He's also never committed any crimes. He should be covered under like the Dreamers program. I've not spoken about him. First time I'm hearing his name is now. But you know what? That actually does bring something up to mind. I want to research real quick before we go live again how apparently El Salvador said that Donald Trump was controlling, CCOT. Let's see here. It says Trump was controlling CCOT. Somebody came in here earlier and said that this is something that the Trump admin was doing. Let's go ahead and get this loaded up now, because I want to research this real quick. Because keep in mind, guys, Abrigo Garcia was beaten Abrigo Garcia was tortured. He was starved for 3 weeks. He lost 31 pounds. And now look at this. This is coming from July the 7th. El Salvador says the Trump administration controls immigrants in the CCOT prison. The government of El Salvador told the UN investigators that the Trump administration retains control over a group of Venezuelan men deported from the U.S. to a controversial Salvadorian prison, contradicting public claims made by officials in both countries. Okay, so it looks like they're accusing him of having control over a group of people. Let's go ahead and read the official filing. All right. The El Salvadorian state empathetically states that its authorities have not arrested, detained, or transferred the persons referred to in the communications of the working group. In this context, the jurisdiction and legal responsibility for these persons lie exclusively with the competent foreign authorities by virtue of international agreements signed in accordance with the principles of sovereignty and international cooperation in criminal matters. Ooh. Okay. So they're just totally saying that it all had to do with Trump. Now, this article from Newsweek that we were reading said that it was specifically about a group of 100 Venezuelan immigrants. If the filing doesn't say anything about that, I don't think that's true, and I think that this would also pertain to Abrigo Garcia. Let's see. The actions of the state of El Salvador have been limited to the implementation of a bilateral cooperation mechanism with another state through which it's facilitated the use of the Salvadorian prison infrastructure for the custody of persons detained within the scope of the justice system and law enforcement of the other state. So the jurisdiction and legal responsibility for the persons lie exclusively, with America is basically what they're saying. Very interesting. Now, see, if this is true, and this does apply to Abrigo Garcia, what this tells us is that, Trump chose to opt to not return Abrigo Garcia to America for 3 weeks, while he also had some control over what was happening to Abrigo Garcia and his treatment. Can't trust Newsweek? Yeah, well, Newsweek said that it was just about a group of Venezuelan immigrants, but the document from the UN that we just, kind of skimmed through for a second, obviously we should probably look through it a little bit deeper. I'll do that on my own time. Doesn't seem to be just talking about Venezuelan immigrants. So, I've been talking about how the Trump administration has essentially been playing judge, jury, and executioner with the lives of these immigrants. And that looks like it's ringing true now more than ever. A subversion of, the proper due process and legal process to get somebody convicted in America by simply sending them to another country to be beaten and tortured without due process, without their day in court, illegally. That is very scary. That is absolutely not just a mark of authoritarianism, but, a historical example that we've seen repeated again and again and again and again. That is just terrible. I wish that more people on the right would care about this, and I wish that more people on the left would talk about it. Now, it doesn't look like we have got that appeal back on the main account. We submitted it 20 minutes ago. It's still getting processed. So, unfortunately, this time we are going to go ahead and go live on another account. So let's go ahead and get DNC Dean loaded up in here. Give me a minute here. I have to sign in and sign out of the account on my end on my computer. Good thing that is really, really, really easy to do. I just literally scan a QR code. It's so fast. Perfect. Log in to TikTok for desktop. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Got all good to go. Oh, what the hell? Wait. My live guest access is suspended on DNC Dean 2? Okay. Unfortunate. It doesn't even look like we have the DNC Dean account back. When did that one get banned? So apparently this backup account that I wanted to go live on, DNC Dean is also banned. Fuck, what happened? Wait, I gotta check this out. Okay. We submitted the appeal. Should we just play the appeal game again? So we have another account, and it's not Dean. I don't know if I have live access on there though. So that's gonna be the make or break. Unfortunately, that'll be the make or break. And in fact, I think I actually can apply for it. Also, we have like 5,000 people watching right now. Go ahead and drop a like, guys. Because we have like 1,000 likes. Oh my god, I apologize. I'm going to turn off the desktop audio so you guys don't have to hear that constant ringing. Okay. So we have another account. It's @itsnotdean. And we might be able to use @itsnotdean to do the debates. Hopefully. I think I just have to apply for the live guest access. Let's try to do that right now. Okay. Apply for live studio access TikTok. If we could get access over there, we should have some success. It's a larger account. It has like 300,000 followers. We used to use it all the time. I just need to apply. Oh my god. I gotta make sure this isn't an accident. I gotta make sure this isn't an accident first. Okay. I really got to make sure that this wasn't like an accident. I don't see like any way that this like couldn't be an accident. Wayne, if I don't know how to respond to this. Wayne with the 5,000 with the $5,000 donation on Venmo. I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words. I truly like I don't even I don't know what to say. That is like the monthly wage. Well, let me do the math here of the average American. Let me see. What's that's a little higher. I don't know. Let me describe my feelings right now. So on one hand, I just feel like I don't deserve that. Nope. Like I just straight up like I don't deserve it. There's not like a brain cell in my head that thinks that is an amount of money that I deserve at all. I don't think that like I should have to like work. I'm sorry guys, I'm just lost for words. Wayne, man, if you were in here, cause like I don't even know if Wayne's in here. Wayne has like donated a handful of times when Wayne isn't in here. But Wayne, thank you. I don't even know what to say. I feel like words can't even like can we all agree here that like even like the words that I like, there's not even an amount of words that I could speak to like show like my genuine thanks. Dude, thank you. I'm gonna personally reach out to you. I'm gonna personally thank you. This is gonna be something that I do. I think that I have the ability to do that from like an earlier donation. I am going to do that. Can we just please show some love to Wayne? Can we get like 5 trillion Wayne W's? And I also just want to make sure that you didn't like type too many zeros. I would totally believe it if that was like an accidental donation where like you only like just meant to send 50 or 5. Right? Like even like 500, which would still be insane. Holy fuck. Okay. Wow, dude. Show some love to Wayne, everybody, for just like the outrageous support. I'm sorry, man. I just like feel bad, you know, like I just feel like I don't deserve that, you know, like everybody else has to work a month, 2 months, 3 months for shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever heard of like survivor's guilt from like being like the only survivor of like a car crash, for instance, because like you feel bad that you're the one that survived? Like right now, I feel bad because like, I don't know. It's just, I'm sure you guys are picking up on what I'm setting down. Just thank you, man. I really do appreciate you so much for your kindness. We got the appeal approved over on DNC Dean. So we're going to start the live over there. I'm sorry. I'm just like still kind of like processing that in my mind. I'm just... I'm sorry, guys. I need a minute. I'm sorry. I'm like, I usually know what to say. And I know that I've been stuck on this for a couple minutes now. I'm really sorry. I know that I've been stuck on this for a couple minutes now. I just need another second. And I apologize for that. I'm going to need another minute here before I'm able to lock back in. Holy fuck. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and hop back into the debates. Wayne, I'm going to personally reach out to you. Like privately. Let's go ahead and start the stream over on DNC Dean. We're live over there. I'm truly just lost for words. It's probably gonna take me a second here to like get back into the flow. Okay. All right. Hello and welcome into everybody tuning in over on the TikTok live stream. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for being here and welcome back in. We are gonna go ahead and hop right back into the debates. Can we just get some W Waynes in the chat? Is that something we could do? It just for like the rest of the stream. If you're like tuning in over on TikTok, you know, you're just now tuning in and you're curious on what's going on. We got banned on the main account. We got like a week ban. We're still waiting to hear back on the approval. So we're going to be live on here. But while we were banned, we're just kind of sitting over on YouTube. And while we were sitting on YouTube, like this was a couple minutes ago at this point, I'm just still lost for words. Wayne dropped a $5,000 donation. I've been freaking out about this and talking about it over on the YouTube stream for like the last like 15 minutes now. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the debates. Wayne, if you happen to be watching, please respond to the comments over on the Vimeo. I want to be able to privately get a hold of you. And we're gonna go ahead and hop back into the debates. Just W wins, like literally until we end the stream. I'm not even joking. Until we end the stream. Now, let's go and get that very first guest loaded up. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Trump. I don't like it's gonna be like really hard to continue to do debates after that. I'm not even kidding. My immediate reaction is to say like I don't think I can do debates after that. That's just like my brain's like so far thrown off. But like he left. But like obviously likely the last thing somebody like Wayne would want is to donate $5,000 and just see me go off. Obviously, like he enjoys what I do, so I'm not gonna do that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. What's going on, Maggie? How old are you? That would be a very small child. That would be a very, 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 very small child. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. Morgan, everybody, if you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Trump. I'm getting like a little bit of like, I think that's like one of like the really big example of like, I'm just really getting like imposter syndrome right now. I don't know. I feel insane. Welcome in, Morgan. Do you support Trump? I appreciate you so much for your kindness, Morgan. And thank you so much for tuning in and for showing some love. Thank you, Morgan. We're going to go and move on to the next guest, the Knights Templar. There's also like a handful of super chats that we've missed here, so I want to go ahead and thank them super duper quickly here. Let's see here. Annie, thank you so much for the 55-pound super chat over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the love, Annie. Annie says, don't feel guilty, pay it forward. That is what you do. Thanks for teaching. I think so, Annie. I think that you're spot fucking on. And thank you so much for your 55-pound contribution. Show some love to Annie down below in that comment section, everybody. Please show some love to Annie. And then also for everyone over on YouTube, sorry, I forgot that I turned off the desktop audio. You guys will be able to hear now. Don't worry, nobody's coming up and said anything important. Thank you so much for the love, Annie. What is going on in the Knights Templar? Do you support Trump?
Hey, Dean, how's it going? And yes, I do. I did vote for him.
Great, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and hop into our debate. Real quick, I also want to thank Avril for the $36 over on Venmo saying that you blow me away, as well as a very kind message. Thank you so much for the love, Avril. Show some love to Avril down below in that chat. And then Lisa with the $20 on PayPal for supporting democracy, and Austin with the $5 on PayPal as well. Guys, sorry, not Austin. Zalia, thank you for the $5. And yo, the Knights Templar, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
So I did debate you a week ago or so, but that's not my conversation. I didn't have much to back.
Sorry, man. I did remove you. I apologize for cutting you off with my removal. I actually probably should have waited for you to finish out what you're saying there. But we do only talk to like one person one time. So I'm going to go to move on to the next guest. I should have let you finish out your sentence there. My bad, bro. But we do only talk to one person one time. Welcome in. What is going on? Sad Cat, do you support Trump? Okay, Sad Cat's not here. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Go to put a maggot down below in that chat with your age if you do want to come up here and have a conversation with us, everybody. We have around another, let's see here, around another hour and a half on live before we do hop off for the day. Let's go to get that next guest, Chris, loaded into live, as well as Amy. Thank you for the tiny surfing over on TikTok. That is incredibly kind of you, Amy. As well as Sam with the $20 on Venmo saying, hey, Dean, it's the Sam. I sent you a message about the Chicago fundraiser on Instagram. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll check that out, Sam, because I want to chat. I'll go ahead and shoot you a DM. Welcome in, man. How old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
24. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why is that?
Cookie King mogs you.
Okay, phenomenal. So why do you support Trump?
Well, I support Trump because I support what he's doing with the borders.
Okay, like what is he specifically doing with the borders that makes you support him? Due to the fact that you said Cookie King mogs me, I don't really feel like you will be able to give me any specifics, but I'm asked nonetheless.
Okay, well, I support Trump for closing the border because, number one, he's keeping illegals out of the country. You know, me coming from an immigrant family, all my entire family is legal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So kicking out illegal immigrants is nothing wrong with that. People saying that kids are getting ripped apart from families, you know, I'm gonna give y'all something. It's a bad thing that kids are being ripped apart from families. But listen, I think that the parents who came here illegally knew that their kids were gonna be getting ripped apart from their family to begin with. If I came here legally I would know that, oh, if I get caught here illegally, my kids are going to be ripped apart from my family. As simple as that.
Okay, well, phenomenal. I think that's an incredibly terrible argument. Like, imagine if, like, the technical legal punishment for jaywalking was death. We wouldn't say just because somebody knew that this was a technical legal punishment that if they did jaywalk, that they would deserve death. So I just think that's a very terrible position. He left. He left. Okay. Well, I mean, you left at a good time because then I was going to go on and explain how that's actually not always been the case. And, you know, like the punishments for undocumented entry have like drastically varied based upon the president, meaning that like different expectations can be realistically and understandably set for like the families that have entered with the use of undocumented means. But they actually just left. As well as Christian, dude, Christian over on PayPal with a $100 donation. Yeah, you're talking about how some last guest name was the name of a terror organization. But I already kicked him. Just want to let you know. Well, thank you for the love, Christian. Are you talking about the Knights Templar? I feel like I've heard that phrase in like a movie before. I didn't know that it was like a real life terror organization. I appreciate you for the heads up, Christian. And thank you so much for the $100 donation, man. Show some love to Christian down below in that comment section. Thank you so much. Then also for everyone over on YouTube, we're not on the main account. We're on @DeanCDean. Okay. Go ahead and put a MAGA down below in that chat if you do want to join and have a good conversation with us for the day. We're going to go to get that next guest up at the box. We're probably going to do around another hour debates, then hop off for the day. Let's go to get that next guest loaded in right now. What is going on, Rosalina? Do you support Trump? Okay, Rosalina's not here. Jesus Christ. Emily, thank you for the motorcycle. That's very kind of you, Emily. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Can't find any guests. We're going to go to get Toltec up in the live. Here we go. We got Toltec loading in. Quite frankly, phenomenal. Quite frankly, phenomenal. Hello, do you support Trump?
Hello, do you support Trump?
Echo?
Well, kinda.
You got an echo, bro. Gotta kick you. Sorry, bro. Can't talk to somebody with an echo. That bad, at least. Okay, moving on. We're gonna try a handful more times here. For everybody over on TikTok, seriously, for the 3.1 thousand people in here with us for the day, guys, make sure that you're double tapping on that phone screen and checking out that live. Right now, we obviously don't have too many people in here. If we can get the live to shoot out more across that For You page, it'll be significantly easier for us to get some debates underway. Welcome in, Adrian. How old are you?
Love your content, dude.
Okay, I appreciate that, Adrian. Let's make sure that we're following the rules, everybody. If you are going to join the queue, you got to be an American adult that's at least 18 that supports Trump. Please and thank you. Like, seriously, please and thank you. Please, please, please. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Lexi? Lexi, I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart to please follow the rules. Moving on to the next guest here, guys. Please follow the rules. American adults that support Trump, hop in that queue. What's going on, Carlos? Do you support Trump?
Fuck Trump.
Carlos, please, man, please follow the rules. Please, 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 Carlos. Why choose to not listen to me? Please, please just respect that. Please. What's going on? Do you support Trump, dear Dick?
Yeah. You don't know. You just took my crack.
Yeah, that's like a kid. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Just do give us a minute to try to get that next guest loaded up in here. Everyone, just do be patient. We got Morgan loaded into the live right now, everybody. Just do be patient. Do be patient, everybody. We got Morgan loading up in. Okay, Morgan is not connecting. What about Lucy Goosey? Let's go and get our next guest, Lucy Goosey, up in here. Dude, Olivia with the $10 over on Super Chat, just saying W fucking Wayne. Dude, oh my God, for real. Like, W fucking Wayne's in that chat. Welcome in, Lucy Goosey. Do you support Trump? Okay, Lucy Goosey's not here. I don't know if we're going to have luck today. I don't know. Hi.
I love you.
Wow, I'm going to assume that means that you don't support Trump. Ava and Co, I appreciate you so much for the love. Y'all, please follow the rules. If you're going to join in that queue, make sure you're an American adult that supports Trump. Please follow the rules. This is getting ridiculous. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
What's up? Yeah.
Okay, man. How old are you?
21.
21, phenomenal. Let's go ahead and hop into a debate real quick before we do. Emily, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Emily says, what you do matters, and you take on a lot of mental and emotional stress for it. Huge W to Wayne. Huge fucking W to Wayne. Thank you so much for the $20, Emily. Show some love to Emily down below. As well as Christine. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you, Christine. Now, Mr. TikToker, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Well, I just really like his ass, to be honest. I like looking at it.
Okay, all right. We're gonna try for a little bit longer. We're gonna try for another 20 minutes here. I don't know if we're gonna have much luck. We're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna have much luck here. We'll continue to try for like another 20 minutes. What's going on, Chrissy? Do you support Trump? Okay, all right. Chrissy's not here. Holy cow. See, the reason why we're getting so royally fucked right now is because this is like a backup account that doesn't have that much of a push. It just makes it difficult to get the debates. But I have a strong feeling this is a true MAGA patriot down here, right?
Hey, yeah, good afternoon. Your picture's gone, by the way. Just looking at a black screen over here on my side.
It's a weird TikTok glitch. It happens every so often. As long as you don't mind, I could hear you, the live could hear you, and we're all good.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I can hear you. That's fine.
Cool. So do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay. Quick question. Epstein files, Democratic hoax?
Democratic hoax?
Yeah, hoax made by the Democrats?
I wouldn't like to believe so.
Well, that's what Trump said.
Yeah, so I would disagree with that, being a Trump supporter.
Yeah, right. And then he also said that we should just stop talking about Epstein altogether.
I mean, if he's in the limelight and some new information has come out, I don't agree with that. So
right. He just called the files fake and then said that we should stop talking about them. What implication does that make?
I would argue that he's just misinformed on that particular topic.
What kind of implication do you think that makes? He's calling them fake, calling them a Democrat hoax, and telling us that we need to stop talking about them. What does that likely tell us?
Did you not hear me? I was saying that I think that he's just mistaken. He's uneducated about those files.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's anybody's fault but his own. So take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Oh, I might have talked to you before. Good to be here. Yeah, I think I'll give you the same answer that I gave you last time if this was you. Yeah, I just can't stand the Democratic rhetoric and the way that they are.
So just anti-Dem, you're pro-Trump? I mean, I don't think that's necessarily how it works. So you could be a Republican and not support Trump. You know, there's actually a lot of Trump supporters doing that right now. There's been hundreds of thousands of Trump supporters that have left the MAGA movement and no longer support Trump, but are still Republicans. There's like a massive group that you could fit into of Republicans that also don't like Democrats, but also don't like Trump.
Sure, I'm pretty sure you could find exceptions on every rule for everything. 100%. Yeah, there's plenty of Republicans who don't like Trump. There was plenty of Republicans who didn't like Trump when he was running for office.
Right. So just saying that you don't like the Dems doesn't like necessitate that therefore you must like Trump.
Oh, yeah. So allow me to elaborate. The main reason is because just of all the I guess the core things that I care about, 2A, the border, the big issues, you know, how we handle our foreign policy and what goes on overseas. You know, I just feel like abortion is another big one. I just feel like the Democrats are just, especially on this app, man, they are just far left wing out there on these ideals.
I mean, yeah, TikTok is definitely a little bit further left than most platforms. But I mean, I wouldn't say that I see any like mainstream popularity of any things that are too crazy. You know, like saying that women and girls should have access to abortion. That's not crazy. That's common sense. And I honestly don't think that a lot of the left-wing pundits on TikTok even spend too much time talking about immigration, so I don't know what your takeaway there would be, outside of maybe it's my view of mass amnesty. Now, this honestly doesn't sound like, you know, the picture that you originally painted of saying that you support Trump because you don't like the Dems, but rather because like maybe you agree with him on immigration, foreign affairs, and abortion policy, right?
More so than I do Democrats. To kind of tie up the point of what I was getting at, and perhaps this app has just been negative for Democrats. You know, just to throw an example out there, you know, when it comes to abortion, I mean, it doesn't take many scrolls to see on here all the way to 9 months, anytime for any reason. And like, I feel like the Democrats' failure to at least separate themselves from that ideology is just damaging.
What did Kamala Harris run on?
Oh, I wasn't speaking what she ran on.
I mean, that would be the official Democratic platform. Okay, like right now, the official Democratic platform upholds a reinstitution of Roe v. Wade, which protects access to elective lethal abortions until the point of viability. Then after that point, gives the states the ability to legislate on them. That'd be the current status quo of what the Democrats support. And that's telling a different story than being pro-choice for any and all reasons, including elective abortions until 9 months. And also, a lot of the people that you see on these lives saying that, they support abortions all 9 months don't truly support like elective lethal abortions all 9 months. That's typically like a provocative statement to pull in a viewership, but when you actually will ask these hosts about what their thoughts are, they'll just say that they agree with non-lethal abortions after viability until 9 months, which is something I agree with too. But now that you know what the actual Democratic platform was, which was protections for all abortions until viability, then rescinding the ability to legislate on it down to the state after viability, how do you feel about that?
So I wasn't one of the people who had an issue with Roe v. Wade. If you want to know my actual thoughts on abortion, I didn't, I'm a guy, not really going to affect me either way. I always viewed that as an issue that where if we didn't at least compromise with the Democrats, it would be one of those forever issues, that we consistently talk about every single election cycle.
You actually don't have any issue with like with the Democrats' thoughts on abortion, because that's the official platform, is reinstituting Roe v. Wade. You just told us so you have no issue with the left's view on abortion.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I get, like I said, I was talking about TikTok and all the people that are on here, at least representing, or falsely representing the Democratic Party, I suppose.
Chances are they don't claim to be a Democrat. They probably claim to be like a leftist. And if you disagree with that and you just think it's super far left, obviously far left ideologies exist. I actually don't think the one that you gave about abortion is a far left ideology. When I think like far left ideologies, I'm thinking about like socialist, communism, etc. Now, we also have like far right ideologies that you'd also despise, of like Nazism, right? So obviously looking at like a minority of people on like either side of the aisle, and then using that to dictate where you would fall, is probably not a smart idea. Plus, like, I'll take communism over fascism, all right, like 10 days out of a week. Now, I guess let's move on. Could you give me any other specific examples or things that you support about Trump?
Yeah. Let me narrow it down then to something that the actual Democratic Party does. Obviously 2A, that's my biggest one. Anytime there's a mass incident, you know what I'm saying? One of those issues, somebody goes in somewhere, does something terrible. You always see it from the left and the right, and everybody takes their sides. But the way that the left comes at the issue, I just feel like they throw a lot more insults. It's every single time the issue happens, the Democrats will essentially come out and say, if you don't want to put weapon control on these weapons, then it's not because you don't think that they'll work. It's not because you don't think that criminals don't follow laws. It's because you don't care about
when we
children.
look at the people that are actually in power, the most insulting president we've ever had is Trump. He has an insulting nickname for every Democrat in Congress. If you hold to the position that you don't like Dems because of insults and support Trump, you're a fucking hypocrite. Let's focus on the politicians. Let's focus on the people running for office.
Are you that easily triggered as well?
I wasn't triggered. I was just saying something that was true.
You rose your voice and used a cuss word. That's definitely triggered. I got to you a little bit there.
Well, I do use like expletive or cuss words. That isn't like typically to convey like anger. It's typically going to convey like something that's being like certainly true.
That's fine. You're allowed to say it.
Me being triggered. But like, once again, if we focus on the candidates for the parties and politicians in power, nobody's more insulting than Trump. So if you don't like insults, you wouldn't like Trump, point blank period.
Oh, no, not at all. So let's agree, by the way, before I even say it, Trump is the most insulting president out there. Let's be clear about that.
So therefore, you're not a Trump supporter.
I would also argue that Trump is the most insulted president of all time. And so he's going to meet the energy with the energy given to him, as would most normal people.
Dude, he literally says that he hated all Democrats. He's the first president in American history to ever say that he hates half of the people that he's supposed to be representing. And you're trying to justify that?
Sure. I would argue in the past 10 years, the Democratic Party has definitely shifted towards a lot of, issues that are not popular amongst Republicans, more so than they used to be.
Mask off. So this whole time you've been talking about how the left is so far out there and insulting. Turns out you actually agree with the president saying that he hates half of his constituents. Mask off. You're the one that is engaging in very broad, all-encompassing, sweeping condemnation of somebody just because they disagree with you politically. That's you, man. You're a hypocrite.
That's not it at all. It's like you didn't hear my explanation prior to the statement. I said that Donald Trump is the most insulting president. We agreed on this. I'm saying that he is also the most insulted president. So, of course, he's going to fire back unless you just expect him to sit there and be quiet and not respond, which I think is just unreasonable for any human being for a given period of time.
So what has every Democrat done that makes it reasonable for him to say that he hates every Democrat?
It's just because of the way that they act, man. I mean, you're on that side clearly, so I guess you're just blind to it, or you have a political bias, and that's fair.
I want you to be clear. What is one thing that every Democrat has done, right?
Yeah.
That gives him a justified reason to say that he hates all Democrats.
Yeah, so for me, it's just they're easy to anger, very easy to anger, and can't hold civil conversation. Right now, you're thank God you're proving me wrong, but it won't take long, trust me. Every single conversation that I ever have with a Democrat, and I imagine he has the same experience. I talk like this every single time. I don't raise my voice. I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to cuss at you. And if you just have a conversation with a Democrat for any length of time, you'll slowly start to see the conversation devolve into mediocrity, where names are just thrown around. They start losing their tempers. They mute you. They boot you. It's the same old. And in person, they'll just scream at you, walk away. And it just doesn't happen with Republicans.
This doesn't happen with Republicans? Are you sure?
Republicans do it in a trolling fashion. They'll come in here, say some stupid things, and then leave. Democrats will actually just devolve in the conversation the longer the conversation goes on.
Do you mind if we have a conversation, sir? Well, I'd like to talk to you about why you support Trump. So I have a question. Your sign says no. Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that in 2005, Donald Trump boasted about walking into the changing rooms of underage teenagers on the Howard Stern show?
You're cute.
I mean, could you give me a response?
You're an idiot.
For asking you a fair question, sir? How does that make me an idiot?
Yeah. Trump is the not the Democrats.
He doesn't believe me, so I'd like to play the clip.
You're an idiot.
Well, let's play the clip together. Is that okay?
Get that out of my face.
Oh, don't you hit me, old man.
Don't you get that
Don't
in my
get close
face
to me.
again.
Back off, big boy. Once again, your sign did say no. I'm going to play this clip for you of Trump.
You want?
I mean, let's take a listen.
AI, maybe?
This came out in 2005 before AI existed.
Sure.
Why, do you want to, you could see when the video was posted right there.
Don't press in like that, right there. Don't
touch my mic.
Don't press in.
Don't touch my mic.
Don't press in.
Don't touch my mic.
Back off.
Back off. Don't touch my mic, sir.
Leave some space.
So in that clip, you saw me ask him a question, and then he does the one thing you just said that Republicans never do by immediately calling me an idiot, and then even gets physical. So, I mean, the broad sweeping claim that you just made about how Republicans are, better kept and more emotionally regulated and controlled, and that you just simply don't see Republicans being emotional or irregulated with their emotions or behaviors is false. And I mean, we see this over and over and over and over again. I mean, we see that false about Trump. You agreed that Donald Trump is the most insulting president we've ever had, even though you just said that that no Republican gets emotional. I mean, he's a Republican, and then even about just people on the right in general. I mean, look at how people on the right have treated me. They for the last couple days, there's been thousands of people on the right that have tried to falsely label me as a pedophile because I don't think kids can consent to sex. And when I had a father arguing that parents have the right to sexually exploit their children, I condemned him and told him he was wrong. A lot of people on the right just got very upset and angry and emotional that I was so strategically taking this guy and all of his beliefs down that they falsely labeled me a pedo. So, I mean, look at it, man.
Sure, so that's terrible.
The fact of the matter is,
could I
the
respond,
right
though,
isn't what you
to your
paint them to
video?
be, for sure.
Yeah. So, and I do want you to know, it seemed like you showed the video. I still can't see you. I don't know if you just showed it or played audio. Which one did you do?
Oh, I did both. I forgot that you can't see.
Okay. So yeah. So I will say this, just calling you an idiot outright, obviously there's an exception to every rule. So of course, when I said no, I guess that particular term was incorrect. There's obviously going to be an exception to every rule on every side. So I'll restate that. But as far as the video goes, I couldn't see it, but I can say this. He said, walk away, and he said, back up from me and stop pressing me, go away multiple times. And it seemed like you just stood there and just stayed in his face. So I would argue that your presence and you continuing to push your ground or hold that while he was saying, get away from me, I would argue that would elicit an aggressive response, especially if you were being that way. And if you are the gentleman that I had a conversation with the other day, I don't know if you are. So if you're not, I apologize for assuming it was on a different profile.
That's why
you had said that. Yeah, you had said that you would say this in my face, no problem. And you kind of got a little aggressive there as well. And so I just feel like in that moment, I'll just say it honestly. I feel like a lot of people in general, they take the police too much, and they do things because they know that if the person beats their tail, they could just call the cops. And without police officers around, they definitely wouldn't act that way. So obviously, you can tell me about the video, though.
Yeah, you're referring to probably Parker. I don't think we've chatted before, and I don't think I've like told anybody that I'd say this to their face, even though I would in like the last couple of weeks. I don't think that was me. And then about your comments in the video, I can't fault you because you didn't watch the video. I forgot that your screen was black. If you watch the video, you'll actually just see him like pressing towards me and telling me back off, even though he's the one coming towards me. It was pretty ridiculous. Now, I want to drop the bombshell here. You know, I think that the ultimate argument to refute all of this nonsense that I believe that you're spouting about how Republicans are so well mannered is January 6th. I mean, we had a president made so upset because he lost an election that he literally tried to install fake votes for himself in Congress to rig the election to silence the voice and the vote of all Americans that did vote. And we saw Trump supporters at the Capitol, like DJ Rodriguez, trying to kill police officers that were there volunteering to protect the Capitol building by driving stun guns into their necks. I think there was 70 people convicted of violent assault on cops. So, I mean, I just think that this false dichotomy that you're suggesting is completely outrageous. And what I would say is we see people that don't have regulated emotions on both sides of the aisle. You'll hear. I'll be the first one to tell you that. I think there's people that are both left and right that don't know how to regulate their emotions. I would just say it's more practically harmful when Republicans don't know how to regulate their emotions, because that's typically displayed through supporting policy that only hurts this country and violates human rights. And maybe the way that it's displayed on the left is like being kind of fucking annoying, right? But like, what's worse, being kind of fucking annoying, or like violence and regressive policy that hurts this country and violates constitutional and human rights? You know what I mean? So please respond to January 6th.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to respond to January 6th. And I want to say this from my military background, and I'm just not going into it. I'm just saying, I'm going to be clear. The January 6th would have fallen on better ears, or at least more open ears that were willing to hear the left side of the story, if they didn't make it seem like it was an actual overtaking of the Capitol through actual real force and violence. And I'm going to say this quickly. I could have done more with 10 men in a day of planning. Like, I could have done more, way more damage, substantially more damage. And the point is that 10,000 people didn't amass together with the sole purpose of overthrowing the Capitol. And I wish that Democrats would at least understand that, and let's stop acting like it was a true insurrection. It was a protest and a riot that ended up becoming a riot. Well, protest that ended up becoming a riot that got out of control. And at no point did 10,000 people intend to overthrow the government, because they would have all been armed, and there would have been hundreds, if not thousands, of casualties on either side. And I would argue anyone who disagrees with that's never been to war.
So you're actually not responding to my argument. I wasn't making an argument of an attempt to overthrow the Capitol building. I was making an argument of like violence and irregulated emotions and an outpour of beating on cops with violent assault, right? So I mean, like the argument that I'm specifically using as it relates to January 6th that I want you to respond to is how Trump and all of Trump's and so many Trump supporters were so emotional and so insane that we had cops almost killed. Like, I'll tell you a story about one of these cops. One of these cops, their name was Officer Fanone. And Officer Fanone was assaulted by rioters, dragged down the Capitol steps, beaten with pipes, stunned with a taser, sprayed with chemical irritants, and threatened with his own gun after overt verbal abuse and a physical assault from, many of the attendees at J6. He suffered burns, a heart attack, a concussion, a traumatic brain injury, and was diagnosed with PTSD as a result of this attack. And he testified alongside 4 other officers, and he said, and I quote, "At some point during the fighting, I was dragged from the line of officers into the crowd. I heard someone scream, 'I got one,' as I was swarmed by a violent mob. They ripped off my badge. They grabbed and stripped me of my radio. They seized my ammunition and that was secured to my body. They begun to beat me with their fists and what felt like hard metal objects. At one point, I came face to face with an attacker who repeatedly lunged for me and attempted to remove my firearm. I heard chanting from the crowd saying, 'Get his gun,' and 'Kill him with his own gun.'" like these are the people that were at the Capitol building on January 6th that you're trying to make an argument were well-mannered and emotionally regulated.
Got you. So to answer it directly, it's the reason that us Republicans would, or at least more acceptable of that in comparison to, for example, a BLM riot that's happened all over the country, right? All over, where buildings burn and businesses, get destroyed. The reason that we're a little bit more accepting of that is because even if they were incorrect, which in this case I do believe that they were incorrect, just for fair knowledge for you, I do think that the election wasn't rigged. However, I think that our forefathers, I think that they would have agreed with them if they believed that if they truly believed that their system had been underhanded and stolen from them. According to the forefathers, I would believe that they would give those people every right. I believe they said it was your duty as an American citizen to overthrow tyranny.
Your whole argument just went out the window. You no longer have an argument to condemn the sporadic emotional or demeaning behavior of anybody on the left. Because I can guarantee to you with certainty that every single person on the left that you have ever spoken with that has demeaned you, that has been emotional, etc., 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 has truly believed that you are in a morally abhorrent wrong. 110%. You just gave up the argument because you just set forth the proposition. If somebody believes that they're justified in their actions, then we can't condemn them for their actions. Well, now all of a sudden, you are absolutely incapable of condemning anybody on the left.
Well, that's a negative. That's a misstatement. I didn't say actions. Actions would mean far-reaching, many actions. There are so many actions that a person can take. There are obviously laws for a reason. I'm stating that in this particular action, I think that if you look at the forefathers, look at the Declaration of Independence, and look at what they think and how they thought that the people should be able to defend against a potential tyranny overtaking their government, I think that the forefathers would have been on the side of the people who rose up, and I think that it's brave to rise up. If you
wait. So your moral standards is what you think the forefathers of this country would have wanted for this country?
So would definitely take that into account moving forward. Yeah, they set a great plan, and if it wasn't for their plan, we wouldn't be here.
So you don't think that slavery is wrong, and you think the only people that should be able to vote are those with property that are white men?
Come on, let's not get them for the times that they were in. Those things were perfectly legal back then, as immoral and wrong as they were. That was just the nature of the times that they lived in.
Well, I mean, you're trying to give me an argument here that you base your view on who you can and can't condemn for their bad actions based upon what you think these shitty men who were alive 400 years ago would have thought. And if that's truly your position, you have no ability to condemn slavery or discrimination in voting processes. And one other point, if we want to trust your logic here and say, well, let's try to make a valuable observation of what the forefathers would have thought about any given action, person, set of actions, set of people, etc., well, you would be the last person to support Trump. The forefathers shot and killed people that supported kings. Donald Trump wants to be a king. And Donald Trump's actions on January 6th is just another great example of that. On January 6th, he sent fake slates of electorates to several different key swing states with fake votes that said he won these states, even though Biden had won these states from the real votes. And then he told these fake slates of electorates to send these fake votes back to Congress. Then he pressured Mike Pence into certifying them as real so he could install himself for a second term, even though they didn't vote for him. And he pressured Bill Barr, the head of the DOJ, into falsely announcing widespread voter fraud. Once again, my main point is here, if you want to observe what you think the founding fathers of this country would have thought about an action, group of people, etc., and that was what you would agree with them on, well, then you'd have to absolutely condemn Trump and say he's the last person you'd ever want to run this country.
Yeah, and on its surface, you would be absolutely correct, and I would agree with you. Even being a Trump voter twice. The problem is, and this is the thing I've had such difficulty convincing Democrats with, and I imagine I'll have the same level of difficulty convincing you. The rhetoric from the left has been so anti-Trump before Trump even got into office, and hopefully you're not going to disagree with that. I imagine you watched the preliminaries, and I imagine you watched when he ran against Hillary before and during and after. They were so hell-bent on getting rid of Donald Trump before he even took his first term. On the right, they just essentially lost all credibility, and it started to look like a witch hunt, where they just had to get him out at any and all costs, no matter what. And when you have somebody consistently going after somebody like that, the credibility just starts to fade, and you no longer believe them anymore. You just think that
What
they're
are we-
just out of their minds.
What are we doing
It's
here? I don't
that
know.
straightforward.
Nothing you just said responds to my description of how Donald Trump tried to play king and install himself as president for a second term in 2020 when he lost the election.
Yes, I
nothing
said that
you
we
said
would
there
agree
responded
on
to
the
that.
forefathers' statement on that. Yes, that was the first thing I said.
So
If-
you agree that he tried to play king and rig an election?
That's not what I said. I said in the stance of our forefathers and what we were speaking about, of if that was the case, then our forefathers would be for that, going after Donald Trump for trying to do something like
Well,
that.
it's important for
I
us to
said
discuss.
yes,
It's
but-
important for us to discuss if that was the case. Do you agree that was the case?
Yeah, but you're circumventing what I said.
Well, I'm just
completely.
simply not responding to it yet because it seems
But
like a
that's
slight deflection off the
circumventing, not
topic of
responding.
January 6th.
Come on, let's not play semantics. Circumventing, not responding, it's the same thing.
Well, if you want to label that as circumventing, I'm doing so with good reason. That good reason being that I gave you an example of Donald Trump playing king, attempting to rig an election, and you kind of ignored it, then moved on back to talking about the Democrats. We could talk about the Democrats all
Not
day
at
long,
all.
but for
I
around a
answered.
minute and a half here, I want to talk about January 6th and Donald Trump's fake electorate plot. You did answer me.
I'll answer it
You
again.
said, no, 1 second. You did answer me. You said if that happened, then you would agree that he was trying to play king and that was bad and that the founding fathers would have disagreed with him. However, in your response, you failed to either agree or disagree that it did happen. And, you know, this is very important for a discussion here because we're talking about reality and we're talking about your motivations to support Trump. So I want to ask you to just make the record clear here. Do you agree that Donald Trump attempted to install himself for a second term and rig the 2020 election? Or do you disagree that Donald Trump attempted to install himself for the second term and rig the 2020 election?
Again, I answered it before, and I'll say no again, because the left and the people who despise Donald Trump had gone on a witch hunt for so long and cried wolf for so long that even if that statement is true to its soul, you've already lost the other half of the country by going on and on and on about Donald Trump 24/7 every single day ever since prior to his first election. No one's going to believe you anymore because it's going to look like you're crying wolf again.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what the Democrats do. They shoot themselves in their
ya.
feet.
I hear you.
And then get angry at other people for not believing them.
This is
Like,
a
and
really
it's
bad
like-
argument. Well, the argument
It's
that you're
not at
giving
all.
it is. I'll explain
Not at
why.
all.
I'll explain why, sir. Calm down. The argument that you're giving me is incredibly bad. The reason that the argument that you're giving me is incredibly bad is because you're kind of just baselessly denying that Donald Trump has done all of these things in which I listed off, accusing him of attempting to rig the election and install himself for a term. Because I'm a Democrat and you think that Democrats have lied so much about him and this is just another lie. Well, the reason why I say this is an incredibly bad argument is because it's not a Democrat that I'm getting these claims from. It's a Republican that I'm getting these claims from. And it's not just any Republican that I'm getting these claims from. It's Trump himself. And you may respond to that by saying, well, Dean, what the hell are you saying? Are you saying that Donald Trump has said he tried to rig that election and install himself for a second term? Yeah, I am. His legal defense in court for the two indictments from Jack Smith, as well as in front of SCOTUS, was to admit that a action of his presidency in 2020 was to install these fake certificates of ascertainment to be sent to Congress, carried by fake slates of electorates, and that because he was president when he did it, and because it should be considered an official act of his presidency, therefore presidential immunity should apply and he shouldn't face criminal repercussions. Now, this fact is not too well known, so I don't fault you for knowing this, but this absolutely just destroys your argument that you're not going to believe this because it's coming from Democrats. When it's not coming from a Democrat, it's coming from Trump himself.
Sure. So I'd like to say this, and I'm not going to ignore you. I'm going to say, I guess based on what you're saying, I guess I'd say you're correct. But I do want to ask you a question because I see how many people you have, and I always see you essentially having debates on TikTok. And you definitely sound like you're paired. You have videos pulled up. You have access to information that you can read on your computer. You're showing clips. It sounds like you actually go out there on the town and actually converse with people on the regular. Do you ever actually debate other professional debaters who are just as prepared as you? Because if so, I'd actually like to watch you and see how you do against somebody who's not on TikTok staring at a black screen and who's just as well prepared as you. And
For
I
sure.
imagine spends the same amount of time and makes money off this so that they can actually do this for a living. I'd like to see
You could
that.
go watch my conversation with Charlie Kirk. It was only 3 minutes long, but he left that conversation saying that
3 minutes?
It was short. It was very short. But he left that very short conversation saying that I gave him the best argument he's ever heard from a Democrat for supporting access to abortion. And then he went on a podcast and said that I'm incredibly intelligent. I also had a conversation with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro reflected on that by saying that I gave him the most interesting point that he heard from anybody that day, and that it made him think. So, I mean, similar thoughts from Ben Shapiro as well as Charlie Kirk there. Now, I don't know if you think that Nick Fuentes is going to be a reliable pundit of the right. I hope that you don't. But I did have a 2-hour debate with him, too. Left that debate feeling very confident that he was wrong and that he looked very bad. For sure, I've had conversations with some larger right-wing pundits that do debate often. Feel free to search up any of those. Now that I've responded to that question, would you like to return to the fact that you don't believe that you have sufficient reason to reject Donald Trump's attempted coup of the 2020 election? Because even if it is the case that Democrats lie, the evidence for my claim that he attempted to coup the election is not coming from a Democrat, it's coming from Trump himself.
You said that statement was coming from Trump himself?
Yeah, particularly his legal argument and those 2 indictments in front of SCOTUS purported by Will Scharf. That would be his personal attorney that represented himself for those 2 indictments in front of SCOTUS. And Will Scharf still represents him till this day. Will Scharf was the one representing him in the appeal to the E. Jean Carroll grape case. That they lost, by the way. But that's a whole other story.
I mean, well, if it came from his mouth, I mean, I'm not gonna deny it just because I'm a Republican. I mean, if he actually said those words verbatim, then I mean, what am I supposed to say? No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that the verbatim words were to call them alternate slates of electorates to ensure the authentic outcome of the election. The authentic outcome being that he won and Biden lost, but same thing, no difference. And I guess now that you seemingly don't have a counter argument against that, you're accepting it, which is something that I do appreciate. Now that we've come to a mutual agreement that Donald Trump attempted to rig and steal this election in 2020, how does this play into the broader scale picture of your depiction of the left as the insane lying lunatics and the right as level-headed, well-mannered patriots?
Well, really conversing with you more so than the points you've given has definitely given me a better perspective, because you haven't, you've maintained your cool and been level-headed, and this is just generally not how this works.
Well, and it's also not how it works a lot of the time with me. In reality, I'm actually a pretty level-headed guy. Sometimes I could be a little bit theatrical with my emotions in these conversations because I'm either having fun with it or I think that the guest is just insane. But like in all reality, I mean, like I wish that more conversations went like this one. But I appreciate you for your kindness, and I do apologize for cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So listen, man. I'll say this, right? I'll say this because the biggest problem for me, and are you okay with us navigating somewhere else, or did you want me to answer something else? I don't
honestly, if you answer that last question, I'm fine with navigating elsewhere. Once again, that last question was, I mean, now that you've seemingly agreed with me that Donald Trump, tried to rig and steal that election because he lost it and he seemingly couldn't handle that fact, which would have purported one of the largest threats to democracy ever. Because if he was successful, that would have silenced the voice and the vote of every American in the election because Biden had truly won. How does this play into the larger picture that you've been describing in this conversation of Democrats being like emotional train wrecks and Republicans being level-headed, mature patriots, right? I mean, because that action was coming from, the current president who you support, who's also a Republican. And I think it's a prime example of one of the most emotionally irregulated, insane things that a president has ever done. And that president was a Republican that was the champion of the Republican Party then and now.
Yeah, so I'll answer that question truthfully. It definitely shows a lack of emotional intelligence, or at least acceptance in defeat, or honor in his defeat. But I definitely don't think that attributing one Republican to doing something improper paints the Republicans in a picture. And I guess speaking with you, perhaps I've also learned that maybe even the many Democrats I've had conversations with throughout my years on TikTok Live perhaps doesn't paint all the Democrats in the exact same light, to not be hypocritical. So I guess that's the best answer I can give for you.
I appreciate that answer. I mean, I do also appreciate your comments about the left there. However, what I disagree with there is the idea that Trump's just one man on the right. Like sure, in a vacuum, it's just one human. But when we consider the fact that it's the same human that 75 million other Republicans supported then and now, 4 years after that fact, tells a larger story. Because it goes from just being one man that decided to engage in some crazy actions that demonstrated emotional instability, a lack of a care for a constitution or voter base, and it goes from being that to one man that has done all these things that is backed by millions of other men and women, right? And that's a really important point, because what kind of virtues what thought processes, what tools of maturity and wisdom are these millions of Americans lacking that have led them to the conclusion that it's not just acceptable to support, but they want to support somebody that is engaged in these immature, emotionally regulated, threatening and harmful actions of attempting to steal an election.
Got you. And I'm going to answer your question by pivoting and going to the other topic that I'd wanted to talk to you about, because I think it does answer it. The reason that a lot of people voted for Trump, and this is one of the major reasons myself as well, I thought that Joe Biden handled COVID hideously. Both of them, by the way, towards Trump ending and all of Joe Biden's. I think that kind of scared a lot of Republicans to even vote left. Even if the next president on the Democratic side would have been a better candidate than Donald Trump, I still would have voted for Donald Trump just because of how the Democrats reacted to COVID. And I think a lot of Republicans kind of hold that sentiment where you weren't even allowed to talk about it. Everything was misinformation. My channel, I had 55,000 followers at the time, and I got banned by reading the red box chart of COVID vaccine from the CDC word for word. And they took my channel down and banned it completely. And that was twice, by the way. I got 50,000 followers a second time and they took me down again. And ever since then, I haven't been able to get above 10,000. So I find that kind of wild. TikTok removed, though. The idea of telling people to sit down, shut up, stay in their homes, get the jab, otherwise lose your job, do as commanded. That just doesn't sit very well with Republicans. And so I think even though Donald Trump has negative flaws and perhaps, horrible negative flaws, a lot of Republicans will look past that. And I think COVID had one of the biggest reasons to do with that for a lot of people.
The sit down, shut up, do what we say. Is that not what pro-life legislation has done to 66 million American women and girls in this country? Sure. Sit down and shut up. You have no access to health care. Is this not?
Let me answer that quickly.
Like the overreach. One moment. What the overreach of ICE has done. I mean, we've seen very large left-wing pundits literally get sit down and told to shut up in a back room in airport, even though they're an American citizen, to be investigated by ICE, like Hassan Piker, or hundreds of thousands of other citizens. I mean, an old buddy Chris, he was running in Texas, and he's Mexican, and he was stopped by an ICE agent and detained for an investigation. I mean, we had I forget his first name, Mr. Khalil is what I'll call him, who was a legal green card holder, who was literally sit down and shut up in an ICE detention facility for 3 months. For 3 months, even though he was a legal green card holder. Imagine the media torpedo that we would see from the right if during COVID Biden had taken Republican Americans that were vaccinated, that were working a job that required a vaccine, and threw them in jail for 3 months, questioning questioning how authentic their documentation of being vaccinated were. I mean, it'd just be a total breakdown from the right. And then even about, closing the businesses down and whatnot. Those business shutdowns, they happened under Trump. That was in April of 2020. That's when 14.9% of our population was unemployed because of the business shutdowns. That was under Republican leadership. And then Biden and Harris came into office. And, the whole narrative that they just shut everybody up and shut down all the businesses is abundantly false, because what was the very first bill they passed? The American Rescue Plan. What did the American Rescue Plan do? It invested $1.9 trillion. Sorry, $1.9 trillion into American businesses to go out, hire more employees, go from drowning to swimming, and to reignite the economy and consumer base into something that is confident, manageable, and moving on from the shutdowns we saw as a result of the pandemic. I think that a lot of those talking points about the mismanagement of COVID by the Biden-Harris administration are ultimately wrong, rooted in misinformation, or just aren't telling the whole truth. Like, what are some specific things that Biden did, like actions here, that you'd be able to describe, that in your mind paint him to be this terrible leader that will cause you to vote Republican for the foreseeable future, even if the Republican candidate is a man that has attempted to steal an election?
Yeah, so you said a whole lot there. I'd like to start from the beginning. You had mentioned why was it so, you mentioned a couple of things about ICE, what they're doing in comparison to what was happening with COVID. You mentioned a gentleman who spent 3 months. You mentioned something else, I can't remember, but COVID affected everyone, like the entire country. So when you were making those comparisons, when you're targeting a small number of people versus things that blanket cover hundreds of millions of Americans, I get your point and I understand what you're trying to allude, but I just feel like that's not really an apples to apples comparison, just due to the massive amounts of numbers.
I just feel like the reason why you don't think it's an apples to apples comparison is because you think one personally impacted you and you don't think the other personally impacted you. This shouldn't be about me. This should be about we.
Well, of course, but I mean, in our country, if something impacts 240 million people and then something else impacts 6 million people, I mean, the one that impacts 240 million people is going to be more impactful. And that's just all it is to it.
So what was the, well, now you're obfuscating your point, because what happened under the Biden-Harris administration that impacted 240 million people that you think was absolutely deplorable?
Sure. So that number, obviously, that's not an exact number. That was just one used for.
It's about to get a whole lot smaller, because now you're about to isolate people that maybe had their accounts taken down for misinformation ban. Guess what? Now we're back in the thousands.
I'd like to answer your initial statement was it was kind of girthy. There was a lot there. I was just getting to the beginning point of it. Previously when I mentioned COVID, I said that I felt that both candidates mishandled COVID. I didn't specifically isolate Joe Biden, remember? So I feel that Donald Trump had it the hardest because it was, the initial hit of anything of that magnitude, handling the very beginning of it when nobody has anything correct and nobody understands anything, when information is scarce. Everybody's going to have a difficult time starting something of that magnitude and that scale. Even that being said, I still think it was mishandled. But my biggest problem for Joe Biden was the continuing of the checks that kept going out and the $600, I think it was, a week that kept going out to everybody. And I think that really contributed to the inflation. I really, really do. And I still see it today. Everything is, sure, has it come down? Sure. But everything is substantially more expensive than it was 7 years ago. And I mean substantially. I mean, if you've got lots and lots of money, and no offense, I take it you do, it might not matter to you, but your average American, I want to say, makes around $46,000 a year. So for most people, everything right now is just almost dreadful because everything's so expensive. And I think that Joe Biden's policy and his plans and sending out all that money were one of the most major contributors to that.
Okay. Well, this was actually a pretty popular argument after it passed the American Rescue Plan. I haven't heard this one for a while. Your argument is that the first round of stimulation to the economy through Donald Trump's 2.4 stimulus bills required, but then Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus bill is unnecessary. And because it was unnecessary, we could attribute that expenditure to causing inflation. Well, the way that I respond to that is by just saying that the data tells another story. So comparatively speaking to every other country in the G7, America, we dropped our level of inflation faster and significantly more dramatically, disproportionate to any other country in the G7. I would only give your argument the time of day to consider if Biden's round of $1.9 trillion stimulus to the economy was unnecessary if we didn't see a faster rate of deflation, quote unquote, in our economy compared to every other country in the G7 as a result of it. And B, if they still didn't spend half as much as Trump did in his first term at the end of the day. And C, if Donald Trump didn't just pass the most expensive bill we've ever seen in American history at $5 trillion. I would say that the stimulus provided under the Biden-Harris administration at $1.9 trillion was significantly better and more necessary for America and everybody in this country than Donald Trump's new $5 trillion bill. And I'll tell you why. It's funny because you just told us that the average American is making $47,000 per year. Well, this new big, beautiful bill, according to reports from the CBO and the CBPP, is unironically reducing the after-tax income of every American making below $51,000 per year. The bottom quintile is getting hurt the hardest. That's around everybody making under $25,000, and then everybody making $25,000 to around $50,000 to $51,000 is still hit. And I think that they're losing around $1,000 in their after-tax income on average. So in other words, we're passing this bill that's spending $5 trillion, according to that's inflation galore, to literally take money from poor and give it to the rich. It's completely outrageous. You should condemn the big beautiful bill significantly more than you condemned, Biden's $1.9 trillion bill to bounce back from the pandemic, because that $1.9 trillion bill to bounce back from the pandemic didn't make the average American poorer, and it cost half as much as Donald Trump's big beautiful bill does today.
Can you pull up that? So I've read not all of it. I'm not going to lie here. I've read a lot of what the tax breaks and the what's it called, the brackets that they were in and the numbers that were associated. I can't pull them off the top of my head right now, but can you pull that up? From what's that website? It starts with a W. I can't remember what it's called. When you Google it, there's a couple of different websites. Please don't pull up some CNN nonsense. There's one, like, if you read it, what I read and what I interpreted didn't seem like people who were making $25,000 a year were getting hit with 19 and 25% taxes taken out of their checks. Like, that's not what I saw.
Okay, because you're right. So the reason why low-income Americans are going to be having a lower after-tax income per year isn't because their literal tax rates are going up. Technically, everybody's getting a tax break, even those making very little money. Now, does this disproportionately apply to rich people? Yeah, it's like ridiculous. But what is reducing the after-tax income for low-income Americans, everybody making at $47,000 or below, isn't like literally increasing their taxes via the federal tax code, but it is the $156 billion cuts to SNAP, the $1 trillion cuts to Medicaid, and the multi-billion dollar cuts to a multiplicity of other things, including scientific research, intellectuals, and the arts, as well as rolling back on some of the clean energy credits under the Inflation Reduction Act passed by the Biden-Harris administration. Sorry, 1 second. Which are estimated to make energy more expensive. So when we factor in for the higher premiums that a lot of low-income Americans will experience being covered by Medicaid as a result of the BBB, guess what? After-tax income goes down. When we account for those cuts to SNAP and less recipients, around 3 million, guess what? That after-tax income goes down because they're no longer covered by the government to buy and pay for their food. When we cover for the fact that the average American household is expected to pay an additional $400,000 per year for energy because rolling back on some of those clean energy IRA credits, guess what? After-tax income goes down. And when we compile the fact that the big beautiful bill helps you more, proportionately speaking, in cutting your taxes the more money you make, and that these cuts to Medicaid, SNAP, IRA clean energy credits, etc., hurt you more the less money you make, what we see is that according to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, as well as multiplicity of other organizations, such as I pointed out, the CBO, they'll have a lower after-tax income on average.
I wanted to point something out and see if you wanted to clarify it. You said after the 1 year increase to people's energy would be $400,000 a year per household. Did you want to correct that?
Yeah, if I said that, I do want to correct that. $400.
Okay. When you said that, I was like, Jesus, there's no way.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
I'm usually
no,
pretty
you're
good
fine.
at keeping track of my numbers. I just said a lot of numbers there, so.
No, and I wasn't trying to get you in a gotcha. I knew you didn't mean $400,000. So like I was just trying to get a real number there. So listen, like, let's be clear, right? If you do lose food stamps, and you said a potential 3 million people maybe losing that, sure, there are people that are going to make less money. But when you say that, it's like, I just feel like I feel like that's just reaching, man. It's like, so what if you don't have food stamps? What if you don't have Medicare or Medicaid, or what if you don't get any benefits and you're just working a job and you make $38,000 a year and it just sounds like you're going to be okay? Like, why? I guess my question is, why are we just automatically assuming that every single one of those people has Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, and 4 other benefits from the government?
Well, that's a good question. It's because a vast majority of low-income Americans that qualify for these benefits do get these benefits. So on average, we will see that maybe like the average American making $30,000 per year will have a lower after-tax income because they're not claiming these benefits. Now, even as it would apply to low-income Americans that do qualify for these benefits, but don't get the benefits for some strange reason, well, guess what? They still had the ability to, It was their lack of knowledge or our government's lack of an ability to communicate the accessibility for these social safety nets fault, insofar as why they didn't have it before. But they still could get them technically. Now they can at all, right? And I think that's also worth talking about. But once again, like the short response to the question is we're just speaking about the average, right? And the average person making $30,000 per year is on Medicaid. The average person making $28,000 per year is on SNAP benefits, especially those with kids.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. So this is my biggest problem with it. Like, my biggest issue is this. Like, I have, full disclosure, I have been on food stamps before when I was younger, right? And I was really struggling. I did have food stamps for a small period of time in my life. And I don't know what needs to be done, but I'll tell you right now, when you're on them, the government essentially forces you to stay where you're at. What they do, and this is coming from experience, and I implore you to look it up if you don't know. I don't know if you've ever been on it or not. Hopefully not. But what they do is they'll say, well, you can make this much money, right? And we're going to give you X amount of dollars in food stamps. But if you end up getting a pay raise, right, or you end up getting anything, you hit that cap ceiling, and the amount that they take from you is far more than what you're actually making. And so it almost punishes you and forces you to stay in a place where you need government assistance, because by getting more money, you'll get more money, but you'll lose the benefits, and the loss of the benefits is usually substantially larger than the amount of money that you're actually bringing in. So, I mean, what should we do about that?
So actually, this is creating an interesting dilemma that, in a sense, does make it hard for people to go from being low income to medium income to high income. And it's one of these thresholds. There's also, like, I don't know. I was about to yap about how there's also this threshold between being rich and like ultra wealthy. Anyways, let me respond to what you're saying. Sure. There is resistance that is placed on an individual's ability to scale their income via hitting that threshold, losing all these benefits, then being significantly worse off for, like the next X amount of months or years while they attempt to scale their income to a point where, all things considered, they're better off. I think the way our government should go about addressing that is by gradually scaling out the benefits, not taking them all away at a particular income threshold. That's the fix. Why has nobody done it? I don't know. But even though you have been able to point out a negative pressure of these food stamps that tends to keep poor people poor, there's more positive pressures that alleviate the financial burdens of low-income Americans or poor Americans. Now, the poor Americans become rich Americans. There's more positive pressures than negative pressures. And my evidence for this is just the fact that in countries with social safety nets, we see more economic mobility, meaning it's easier to go out there and scale your own net worth because there's less resistance on you to dedicate more time to focusing on school compared to going and working a job for 80 hours a week. You have more time to go through more complex interview processes with jobs that may take a handful of months because you don't need a job right now because you'll still have food on your table every night. And that's just what we see empirically. The empirical outcome of social safety nets, including systems of benefit such as SNAP, is that it helps poor people become not poor by alleviating burdens to help join the next income bracket and giving them more time to focus on becoming a higher skilled laborer. But you were able to successfully point out one of like the very few cons that can easily be addressed by gradually scaling people out of receiving these benefits and not just taking them all away at once.
So since we're talking about that, I'd like to give you my idea for it, because when I ended up getting off it, luckily I had gotten promoted in the military, and the amount of money that I made, and then I moved on post, so I had bills that were no longer a thing. So for me, it wasn't a big deal getting off of them because I had joined the military, and so I was essentially taken care of. But I think that in the amount of fraud that actually is there, and the amount of the ability to get them it's pretty straightforward, as long as you can just prove you don't make a lot of money. I think we should substantially increase the amount you get, but put a cap on how long you can get it. So that way you can actually have all of your necessities paid for, but for a very short period of time. I don't know how many years you want to cap that at. So that way people can actually put away money to save money, to actually put a down payment on something, or actually elevate themselves. Because if you're just getting, I don't know, let's just say $800 a month for food, trust me, in today's world, I mean, you're literally just putting enough money on your table, and that's it. And you're not literally impacting your money, and you're just going to keep the same amount of money that you have. Like, I feel like we have to make the system a way that elevates people, not just gives them a crutch.
Okay.
Like,
I would-
that's really my issue with it.
I would say that I mean I like the sentiment of like focusing on figuring out ways that we could better design like policy as it relates to SNAP benefits to not just treat low-income Americans better, but to also offer more incentive for scaling one's income. That's great. However, the policy recommendation that you just described of saying let's cap the amount of time that people could spend on these benefits is not something I would agree with, as I actually don't think that's one of the issues with them at all. 52% of people that receive food stamps in America are on them for an average of a year. And, even like that hypothetical cap that you just dreamed up in a second, maybe you didn't put too much thought into it, was you said a couple years, right? Well, the average, person that collects food stamps is only on them for 12 months. You know what I mean? And I think that gives more evidence for my hypothesis that they actually do help elevate individuals to be able to grow and scale an income. And B would probably make like your policy recommendation, like the last on the list of policy recommendations I'd support to reform it. I'll give you an example of like how SNAP benefits can help a family. Imagine that there is like a single mother of 3 kids and she's low income. She doesn't have a college degree. Maybe she dropped out of high school as a GED. And she doesn't have the time to go out and do some lengthy interview process for a position because she has 3 kids that she needs to feed. She needs a job now. Okay. What is that low income mom going to do?
Yeah, that's a difficult that's a difficult question. I mean,
she's going to go to
hope
any
her
place.
family structure is really good, and pray that she has people who love her, because without that, that's going to be. I don't really know if I have that exact answer for you.
I'll tell you what she'll do. She's going to go to any place that will hire somebody with a low level of qualifications and work hard as fuck. So I'm talking a minimum wage job in some red states that's like not even a livable wage. It's completely ridiculous. And because she has 3 kids, she's not just going to work 40 hours a week. She's not just going to work 45 hours a week. She's going to work like 55, 60 hours a week because she's getting minimum wage and she has to feed these 3 children. Well, where food stamps can come in to elevate these low-income families is the government says, we're going to alleviate some of that financial burden that is causing you to have to work 60 hours a week at this minimum wage job that requires no qualifications by giving you this money every month. And because we're giving you this money every month to pay for these food stamps, all of a sudden, you no longer have to work 60 hours a week to make by. Now maybe that mom could work 40 hours a week. And now because that mom could work 40 hours a week, although it would be really fucking tough and hard, she has just a little bit more time to maybe start getting an online degree or to start getting invested with a trade school or to start looking into some solution of entrepreneurship and dedicate more of her time and focus on scaling her income, right? And that is the benefit of food stamps. And that is just one example of millions of real life examples where food stamps do truly elevate, the lifestyle and the income of low-income Americans to existing as the average American or high-income Americans, right? And that's why we see, on average, countries that have more of these social safety nets have more economic mobility. Did he leave? He did leave. I don't believe that. No, I think he accidentally scrolled out because that was a good conversation. I don't believe that he ran. I don't believe that he ran. Chad, I don't think that he ran. I think that he like scrolled out or something. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he did run. I just want to get why he would have run because that was a decent convo. Unfortunate. It was such a shame. I hope he comes back. If he does come back, I'll happily just pick up that conversation with him where I left off. Guys, how do you like the more like chilled out combos? I'm not gonna lie. Like this is B. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like on like the average day when Dean is just like doing shit off live. Like this is how I am. You know what I mean? I kind of put up a little bit of like a guard and hop on some of these people times to times. But, at the end of the day, like, I could probably debate people like this for 4 hours a day and have a higher quality of life because then I'm not stressed out as fuck. I don't know. You guys like it? You guys like a little bit more chilled out? It's a vibe. Yeah, it's a vibe right now, man. I'm feeling good. It's cozy and I like it. Yeah, it definitely, I think, offers me like more of an opportunity to actually explain these things. You know what I mean? Like we get to go in depth. We get to be nuanced. It's not just like the gotcha moments or anything like that. It's more explanatory, as well as it like sets, like the guests up to be like more like receiving of like the information that I'm giving. Like think about it. Like that guy came up here and, like the first words that came out of his mouth was, Democrats are crazy lunatics. I'll never trust a Democrat crazy lunatic. And, by the time he left, we're actually having a pretty decent back and forth where I feel like he was open to what I was saying. I was open to what he was saying, I don't know. It's fun. Pretty cool. I like that. I enjoyed that. What an odd person to like end up having a good conversation with. Like typically the people that come up here saying that they support Trump because they hate Democrats are like not good convos, but that was. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute here. While we are loaded up that next guest, there's a handful of people that I would like to thank. Jay, thank you for the $20 over on Super Chat, saying crying wolf like Donald Trump has done for CRT, DEI, trans people, Hillary's emails, Obama's birth certificate, eating pets, gay marriage, drag queens, etc. Yeah, dude, honestly, Jay, I'm going to fucking pin that. That's a great message, Jay. Thank you guys so much for the love, as well as, I don't know for a name, thank you for the $50 over on Super Chat. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. And yeah, I was just giving additional context to that clip. So it wasn't like me being like a snake or anything. It was just additional context. But thank you for the $50. I don't know for a name. That is incredibly kind of you. Everybody show some love to IDK down below in that comment section, as well as Emily Thiel an hour ago with the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love. Incredibly kind of you. Incredibly kind. As well as Stephanie with the $10 over on PayPal. Stephanie says a chill conversation can actually change hearts and minds. I agree. They're also pretty fun. Thank you for the love, Stephanie. Let's see here. Also, Danielle with the $50. Thank you so much for the love, Danielle. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Show some love to Danielle down below in that chat. Danielle, thank you for the $50 donation. That is incredibly kind of you. Let's get 500 Danielle W's. Holy crap. Thank you. And okay, what is going on, Dari? Do you support Trump? They're not even here. All right, we're going to try to do one last combo of the night before we take off. We inevitably are going to take off here. Me and my girlfriend are going to go watch the new Superman movie tonight. It's 5. I think the next show time is like 7. 6? I think it's 6. I don't know. That's what we're going to do tonight. That'll be fun. What's going on? Do you support Trump? Troy, are you here? Troy did not leave. I've heard from a lot of people that the new Superman movie is like actually really good. No spoilers, please. No fucking spoilers. But ops on the new Superman movie. What's going on, AJ? Do you support Trump? Okay, AJ just left. Moving on to the next guest. Everybody, we're going to move on here. And by the way, I'm not going to look at the chat until I end now because I just already know that the Trump supporters are going to start spoiling shit. What's going on, Jennifer? Do you support Trump?
Oh, no, sorry. It put me in here.
No worries, Jennifer. Don't worry about it at all. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Oh, somebody in the chat said, spoiler, Clark Kent is Superman, mods ban him. We got Ari loaded up. What's up, Ari? Do you support Trump?
I don't. I just love you.
I appreciate you for that kindness, Ari. Yeah. How long have we been live? Honestly, I've lost track. We've been live on YouTube for like 3 hours. Yeah. We'll do one more debate. Then hop off. All right, guys, going to put a MAGA down below in that comment section with your age. If you would like to come up here and have a conversation with us about why you support Trump, we're honestly just looking for a good faith debate, guys. Going to put a MAGA down below in that chat with your age. And then Peter, thank you for the 100 DKK. I don't know what currency that is, but it's really cool. Thank you for the love, Peter. All right, guys, let me know if you want to come up and debate. Yes. Zaya, we got Zaya loaded in. Here we go, everybody. Do just be patient while we're working on getting that next guest loaded into the stream. Cornball City is loaded in. What's up, Cornball City? You support Trump?
Yes.
All right, man. How old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
Okay. Got to be at least 18 to be on TikTok Live. Tess, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo for food and popcorn at the movie. That's very kind of you, Tess. Yeah, so typically, like when me and the girlfriend go out to the movie, we're the bad guys. We're sneaking something in the waistband or purse.
I'm so sorry. I was tapping. I didn't mean to request.
No worries at all. But we'll have to get some popcorn this time. That's right. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute here, y'all, to get that next guest up in here. What's going on? Do you support Trump? Hello?
Yeah.
Age, please?
Um.
That's obviously a child. Moving on to Wacky Tacky Joel. Here we go, everybody. Okay. I don't know. Do you think that we're going to be able to find any debates? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find any debates, yo. This is rough. This is really rough. I think it's because we're on the backup account. By the way, I'm going to check to see if my appeal went through. Oh, no, the appeal was not approved. Unfortunately.
Wait. Hello?
What's up? How do you?
Wait a minute. Do you want to hear the harp?
No. Guys, can we follow the rules? I understand that, like, maybe you guys want to come up here and troll and whatnot. Please don't do that right now. Like, we're on the backup account. It's going to be significantly harder for us to kind of weed through the trolls on here. So please respect that. Please respect that, everybody.
Oh, fuck.
Josh?
I'm a child. Let me go. I'm a child. Let me.
Kevin, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 21. I also got to apologize because yesterday I said nigger in your life. I just want to apologize because of that. Nigger.
Okay, moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute while we're working on getting the next guest, Tyson, up in the box. A lot of Trump supporters would prefer to just come up here and say the N-word. I apologize for that.
To join.
Let's go to... Oh, you didn't mean to join. No worries. Moving on to the next guest here. Everybody just do be patient. We're going to go get our next guest, Ninja, loaded into the stream. Here we go, everybody. Make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. There's a fascinating... what's going on, Ninja? Do you support Trump?
Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to join.
No worries, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Maybe Louis O.C. will come up here and give us a debate. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, everybody. What's up? You support Trump?
We sure do, way.
You're Irish, right? Scottish?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't even support... to be honest, I'm not really a politics fan, but I'm...
Avery, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love. What's up, Harry? You support Trump? Okay, bye, Harry. Moving on to Amber. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump. I don't know why there's so many people that are in that queue that don't support Trump. If we can't find somebody here soon, we'll probably just log off for the day. Oh, I'm doing a stretch. Holy fuck. Been sitting in this chair for too long. This chair's uncomfortable as hell. What's going on, Em? Do you support Trump?
I don't support Trump, but I'm very, uneducated.
Then watch it live. You're definitely in the right place. Moving on. Here we go. What's up? You support Trump?
Hey, Dean, yes, I do. And I wanted to first say before we get into an argument, I wanted to say that I've been watching your stuff for a while, and being a Republican, I have very much been educated about a lot of things from you, just kind of what you've been saying. So I really do appreciate you a lot.
Hey, man, that's cool. I'm happy to hear that. How old are you?
25.
25. What year were you born in?
2000.
Okay.
And also, is that a vape or an anxiety pen? Which one?
It's obviously an anxiety pen. So
Heck yeah, dude.
Why do you support Trump?
And
Oh no. Oh jeez. Okay. he freaked out. He was on the right path there. I just think he had a little bit of stage fright, so he dipped. What's up, Decker? Do you support Trump? Okay, Decker left too. Let's stop joining the queue unless we support Trump, guys.
All right, yo, I have a question.
Christian,
I'm 20.
Do you support Trump?
20. Yeah, but can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure. In 1 second. Zia, do you support Trump? No? What about you, Luke? Do you support Trump?
I'm kind of in the middle.
Okay. Christian, I guess it's just you. So you said
Yeah.
you support Trump.
I
Tell
have a
us why you
question,
support
though.
Trump.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you could do that first.
Okay, so if you like Trump's policies, right, and would you support him as a president, or do you just hate him as a person, or both?
I think that his policies suck and his character sucks. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, what year are you born in?
04.
Okay, all right, what month?
December.
All right, let's have that debate. Zia, I kicked you right as you said something. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, age please.
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
Huh?
What year were you born in?
Hold on. Someone just said it was a lie. Who said that?
This other Trump supporter. That's your bro. So, what year were you born in?
Oh, okay. I was born in 2007,
What month?
January.
January of 07? That'd make you 18. Okay, suspicious. I don't know. I'll choose to trust you. Don't betray my trust. Christian and Zaya, I'm gonna go and let you guys 2v1 me. Tell me why you support Trump. Let's hear the argument.
Okay, so can I go first?
Sure.
Well, I support Trump because he hate gays, and I hate gays too. So
Okay, why do you hate gay people?
because they're faggots.
Okay, just want to come up here and say slur. Apologize for that, chat.
the
Guess it's just you, Christian. Tell us why you
You
support
get
Trump.
weird people.
You're telling me, man. Why do you support Trump?
So, I'm not educated. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not very educated, but I do watch a lot of your lives, you and Parker. But the only really thing I know about him that I don't think Kamala wants to do or was gonna try to do is the border and how, sorry, I just don't think it's right how we're letting illegal immigrants into our country, right? I just don't think that's right.
Okay. And you like Trump because he's stopping that madness, right?
Well, I've heard he's gonna stop it, yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing here is the ways that he's used to stop undocumented immigration into America is by restructuring their incentive structure, by convincing them that they'll have a lower quality of life if they do enter into this country the use of undocumented means, by torturing and beating the undocumented immigrants that are already in this country. I'm not joking either. Literally torturing and beating them. Abrigo Garcia was beaten and tortured in CCOT after being illegally deported by his admin. And I just obviously don't think that's an effective way to reduce undocumented immigration into this country. I'd say the more effective way to reduce undocumented immigration into this country is to make the legal means of entry significantly more attainable, because ultimately that's the incentive for undocumented entry, is the fact that they just can't attain the legal means of entry. Kamala Harris kind of wanted to do something like that through the bipartisan border bill, which would have hired more judges to run more courts on the southern border to expedite legal claims of immigration, meaning that I think Kamala Harris's solution for the border was significantly better than Trump's.
Would you say it's the same as if somebody broke into your house uninvited and you just didn't do anything about it until you found out that they weren't invited? Would you say that's the same as somebody illegally coming into our country uninvited, without doing the process? How would that not be the same?
How would that not be the same? One is your house, then one is the country. So you're equating your house to be the same as the country.
Is in a sense of that house in this example, though.
I have a question. Do you have ownership of this country?
No.
But you'd have ownership of the house. Okay. Do you have a final say over what goes on in your house?
Yeah.
Do you have an expectation of privacy in your house?
Yes.
Do you have a final say over what goes on in this country?
No, but we should.
No, you on your own should never have that. And do you have an expectation of privacy in all places in this country?
Wait, do I have expectations? What?
Do you have an expectation of privacy in this country in all places?
No.
Right. So there's some very clear differences there. So obviously you
Right.
can use that as an analogy.
But would you see why I would think it's the same or no?
I mean, I understand why that may come to your mind because some right-wing pundit said it, but just because some right-wing pundit said it doesn't make it true. One's private property, one is public property. Also, if somebody was to break into my house, I'd assume that they're there to hurt me, right? Or take from me, right? Right. However, it is a case that when undocumented immigrants come into this country, they don't hurt us and they don't take from us. They actually give to us.
You don't know that. They're taking jobs.
Well, when you say they're taking jobs, all that you mean is that they're working a job to provide to our GDP and paying taxes.
From legal citizens that live here.
Yeah,
they're
really.
taking.
How many undocumented immigrants are working in America today?
Okay, I told you I'm uneducated, so I don't know that, but I know they're taking jobs.
8.3 million. Question: how many open job opportunities are there in America today?
There's probably double that, and there's probably a lot more.
There's the same as that, 8 million. So how could you say that they're taking jobs from Americans when they work 8 million jobs, when Americans can't fill the 8 million open job opportunities that already exist?
But would you say it's fair that they're taking
That they're
the
working?
jobs.
Oh, it's not just fair. It is
Okay, fine. They are working, but
one
they're
second.
still taking
It's
though.
it's not just fair to us. It's unfair to them because they're working at higher rates than citizens, contributing 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars to our GDP per year, and paying 100 billion dollars in taxes per year, while not having any claim to file a tax return. So they
How are
disproportionately
they
pay higher
paying
tax
taxes
levels.
if they're illegal?
Because you don't need to be a citizen to pay taxes.
Well, how do they get a?
Are you just asking how they pay taxes? Well, they pay taxes through an ITIN number.
But if they're illegal, how do they get on the books? How do they get in payroll? How do they get in all that if they're illegal?
Well, because like 9 out of 10 employers are going to require you to be on the books as a W-2 employee. So if an undocumented immigrant wants to work a job and generate an income, they got to go to irs.gov and get an ITIN number to put on that W-2. Then they work and their employer pays taxes for them and they can't file for a tax return.
Right,
how-
but how do you think they got that from the?
They go to a website.
But they obviously got it. They obviously stole it because no, you can't just. You have to be a. Don't you have to be a legal citizen to get that?
No.
Oh.
You could be a Chinese citizen sitting in China right now and get an ITIN number. It's just obviously the IRS wants anybody that has any money that they have an obligation to pay them taxes regardless of everything else. Like even if you commit robbery, technically speaking, you are obligated by the IRS to pay taxes on the value of the property that you robbed. like no.
What?
Yeah, no, like the IRS collects taxes from anybody that they can, and they allow anybody to pay them taxes. Anybody can pay the IRS money. Oh, they'll take money from anyone.
So can we go back to why my question? Remember I asked you when I first got on here, like, do you like him as a person or do you like just not like his policies? And you said both, and you said you don't like his character too. What about his character? What don't you like?
Sure. He is a rapist. He has boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teenage girls. He has hit on a 10-year-old girl. He has hit on his own daughter. He's incredibly xenophobic and called for a complete shutdown of all new Muslims coming into the country.
What does that mean?
Xenophobia?
Yeah, I never heard that word before.
How old did you say you were?
I'm 20, but like I never heard
no,
that.
No worries, man. So xenophobia is just like a prejudice or bias against people from other countries.
Oh.
Right. Is incredibly xenophobic. He advocated for a total complete shutdown of all new Muslims coming into the country. So, yeah, these are all facts of his characters that I really don't like.
Do you even like some of his policies, or all of them don't you like?
Are you just asking me if I could identify like a single policy that he's ever passed that I like? Sure, I can. A Right to Try Act, Operation Warp Speed, and then that one bill that he passed not too long ago, further restricting on like AI porn.
What the? You like his AI porn policy?
I did like it. It restricts on like deepfake porn. Your reaction to that tells me a different story. Your reaction to that tells me that you're underage. I feel like an adult in his position would have been like, "What the fuck?" when I said porn. You know what I mean? So we're gonna move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm just gonna go ahead and take the take the get. Like, yeah, that's a minor reaction, as it should be. Right? If a minor hears the word porn, they should be like, oh, what porn? You know, like, okay, good. Okay, but obviously, right, that's not going to be the reaction like a 20-year-old. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone just do be patient while we're loading up that next guest. Everyone just, give us a minute here, y'all. All right, they were a Democrat. Okay, we're going to try to get one last guest up here at K-Beauty. Everyone just do be patient. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
No.
Base. Okay. All righty, everybody. I think I kind of want to do one more debate. I keep on saying that I'm going to get off, but I will say,
Yes, here.
I kind of want to do one more debate. Peyton, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
You're a Trump supporter, right? Just feel like you are. Peyton's MAGA name.
I'm Peyton's friend. I'm just on here because my phone ain't working. But I do want to start off by saying I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter. I just look at him as being the better option over Kamala Harris.
Yeah, sure. So why do you think country would be worse off right now if Harris had won?
Well, because she was given a list of jobs that she was given things that she was supposed to do when she was in office, and she did none of them. And so why would we reelect her?
Okay.
She's letting millions and millions of illegal immigrants across the border.
Yeah.
You know what I
obviously.
mean?
So, I mean, if you truly believed in the idea of not supporting politicians if they fail at designated tasks, you definitely wouldn't support Trump. He failed at the task of releasing the Epstein files. He failed at the task of cutting inflation in the first 24 hours. He failed at the task of ending the Russian-Ukraine war in 24 hours. In his first term, he failed at the task of building a wall when he said he was going to. He failed at the task of, renegotiating the USMCA with Canada. He failed at the task of passing an infrastructure bill. He's failed at all of these tasks, and
I don't think it's necessarily failure. I just don't think he did it in the time that he said he would.
Okay, then anything Kamala Harris did wasn't necessarily failure. She just didn't do it in the time she said she would. But also, she succeeded.
In office.
So what was her task?
For one, she was in charge of the border.
But like, what in charge of the border? What does that mean?
She was in charge of Border Patrol.
That's not true. That's misinformation.
Not the actual Border Patrol. I mean, she was in charge of making sure that illegals weren't crossing the border. And
that's also not true. No, that's also misinformation.
How was she not in charge of the border? That's common
because what she was in charge of, the task delegated by Biden, was to work with southern Latin American countries to fix their socioeconomic conditions to disincentivize immigration into America. Nothing to do with the southern border, and all to do with promoting better socioeconomic stability in southern Latin American countries. She was pretty successful with this. The diplomatic work she did with Guatemala reduced my immigration from the country by upwards of 50%.
So are you strictly like Kamala supporter, or do you just look at her as being a better option than Trump? Like, how much do you agree with what she does?
Yeah, I agree. Like 9 out of 10 things she does significantly better than Trump. Trump is terrible. I don't. It's like Donald Trump just sucks. Like Donald Trump is like a trigger word for me. Like his economic policy terrible, just hurts poor people. His social policy terrible, just hurts women and minorities. His mass deportation policy is terrible, hurts everybody.
And
Foreign affairs, he can't do anything good because he's incompetent. He makes false promises, walks back on shit. I just failed to see how he was realistically the better option out of the two. And feel free to kind of describe to me how he was.
I just think so. I'm religious. I'm Christian. So he aligns more with my moral values and my moral beliefs. That's the main reason I support him.
Well, I disagree. I don't think that's true. What moral values are rooted in Christianity that you hold to be the case that he aligns more with?
Well, for one, he brought God back into the country as the left was trying to take "In God We Trust" out of our country, take all of that out. And I think the country was built on God.
You don't want to say that. Don't say this country was built on Christianity. It's just bad for Christianity because this country was built on slavery. This country was built on oppression. This country was built on white men that own property being the only demographic of individuals with the right to vote. This country was built on acting as if black women couldn't feel pain, so it was okay to rape them. Like, that's what this country was built on. I'm not even genocide of indigenous Americans. Like, if that's the shit that this country was built on, and this country was built on Christianity, who the fuck would want to be a Christian? You know what I mean? Like, objectively, you got to say that this country was built on the furthest thing away from Christianity in order to paint Christianity as anything that could ever be appeasing to anyone ever.
Right. So I got a lot of questions for you, man, because you're smart and I enjoy listening to you talk, but I just disagree with you on certain things. But kind of on the spot right now, man. I'm a little nervous. There's 6,000 people watching me.
No worries. So about your claim that you always putting God back in the country, I also think that's anti-Christian. The only way to truly have freedom of religion is to have a secular society. That's it. That's the only way for you to truly have like freedom of religious choice is for there to not be a religious preference of the state. Because like think about it this way, you know, like the moment we say that like we're putting God back in the state, this is a Christian state. Well, all of a sudden, everybody that isn't Christian is just completely rolled out of the picture. They no longer have that free choice for themselves. They're confined into the norms that quote unquote Christians set forth. But maybe you don't care about that much because you're a Christian. So obviously, if you were in a Christian state, you would align with the teachings of the state, and you think that the Christian God is one true God, and the God of any other religions doesn't exist. So you don't really care that their religion is being oppressed. Well, okay, as soon as we get there from your perspective, think about it this way. There's about 1 billion different versions of Christianity. Like seriously, you got the Lutherans. The Lutherans think that You know, when you do Eucharist, you're actually eating the body of Christ. Same thing with the Catholics. But then you've got the Baptists who say that when you're doing Eucharist, you're not actually eating the body of Christ. And then you have like the other Reform movements that say other things that are completely different. Then the Catholics and the Orthodox, they're like, well, there's the magisterium and the normative power of the church, so we must listen to what has been passed down through apostolic succession. But then the Orthodox people are like, well, we don't fall to the kneel of Rome and the papacy. So when we have like 50,000 different variations of Christianity, how can you ensure that it's going to be your version of Christianity that ends up in the state? All of a sudden, chances are, like, there's literally a 1 out of 50,000 chance that your version of Christianity is what the state will operate off of. Thereby, there's a 49,000 out of 50,000 chance, which is like 99.9999% that you're going to end up being oppressed by this Christian state because they're teaching Christian values and norms that you disagree with, that you don't think are truly part of the church. So
I get exactly
that's
what
why
you're saying.
a secular state is like so important for everybody.
So I honestly, you kind of just changed my mind right there. You educated me. I agree with you on that. And like I said, man, I really like a lot of what you say. But a couple of questions I have for you. So you call Trump racist, or the left calls Trump a racist, but has he not done more for black people than anybody?
Well, let's just start off with that claim. He's done more for black people than anybody. What has he done for black people?
For one, employment. The highest black employment was whenever he was in office in 2016.
Well, I mean, that's not true. So you're talking about 5.6% in 2018. In 2022 and 2023, like for 4 times, we had a 5.2% level of unemployment for black Americans. Plus, I don't think he caused that 5.6% level of unemployment in 2018 under his first term. So we want to attribute that to being one of his accomplishments.
Where do you get your news from? Just curious. Like, where do you study your news?
Well, I mean, it's not even just news, that's statistics. Like in this current conversation about unemployment rates,
Right.
et cetera, I get those from like the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics. I get those from the feds. I get those from the people that report job numbers. I really like the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the U.S. Economic Bureau. I mean, that's where I'm going to get my data as it relates to economic, stats.
So do you think Trump is homophobic?
Do I think he's homophobic? Yeah, I do. Very homophobic. So there's been examples in like Donald Trump's past of him like allowing gay marriage at Mar-a-Lago, for instance, or that one picture of him where he's holding the LGBTQ plus flag. I'd say out of like, but at the end of the day, the big reason why I think he's homophobic is because he's just like totally fine with more social persecution of gay people by uplifting like Christian Christian evangelism and fundamentalism in order to get their vote by kind of doing those virtue signals that you just pointed out of saying put the God back in school, but Bible back in the classroom, God back in the country, etc. Like all of these things walk us further and further and further away from a secular society to like this Christian theocracy that upholds Christian fundamentalism and puts us closer in proximity to more oppression of gay people. And he's the one leading those steps. So obviously he's homophobic. Oh, and then also shutting down the Trevor Project, dude, like a suicide hotline for members of the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah, completely oppressive towards members of the community. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. That does sound very oppressive, and I would disagree with that. Like I said, man, it's not that I support him so much. I just look at him as being the better option for our country. Not that he's some great person or anything like that. I think he just runs the country better.
Okay.
I disagree. I disagree with a lot of things.
Well, why is that? Why do you think he runs the country better? I remember back when I was like, younger, I used to say that too. But when I had to explore my reasons why, I don't really know if I had any.
Right. So I think for one, I do compare and contrast. It's like you look at what Kamala, they're giving all kinds of money to Ukraine during all that. What did Trump do? He pulled us out of there. We're in no active combat zones. The world is in a better state with Trump in office. And
I think that he's resumed funding to Ukraine because pulling funding from Ukraine was like so bad for foreign affairs. It just only exacerbated the conflict and made it worse. So he's walked that one back, and now he's giving more money back to Ukraine. He
Really?
resumed that funding. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, so I'm uneducated, man. It's hard for me to debate and argue you because you're so educated on the topic, man. Honestly, I can't debate this guy.
Oh, yes. Yes. So this is coming from the BBC 2 days ago. U.S. has resumed, like, this is a really recent update. U.S. has resumed military supply to Ukraine. And a day ago, even after resuming military supplies to Ukraine, is now considering greenlighting new funding for Ukraine. And the reason why he's doing that is because when he stopped giving funding to Ukraine when he first won the White House, Russia just started launching their largest offensive attacks yet, which then caused Ukraine to launch their largest defensive attacks yet. It only emboldened the conflict. So when we revoked funding from Ukraine, it was essentially putting lighter fluid on that shit because Russia was like, now's when we got to pounce. You know what I mean? Right. And then when Ukraine was getting pounced, they're like, oh, fuck, now we got to pounce back harder with, every might that we have. And it just exacerbated the conflict. It kind of reminds me of World War II when Hitler was like, well, we don't want to declare war on America. But then after Pearl Harbor, Hitler was like, oh, America's weaker now. So now we're going to declare war on America. So when like a potential victim is weaker, they want to pounce harder. And that's exactly what Russia has been doing to Ukraine in like the last handful of months. Donald Trump is now walking that back and resuming funding.
So I watched a video not too long ago, and it was talking about how technically Ukraine has stolen land from Russia from way years and years ago. So do you blame Putin for trying to get land that is technically theirs back?
So
am I reading fake news?
Yes, you are not just reading fake news, but you're reading fake news from the Kremlin in Russia. So that's not just like a Republican talking point. That's like a Russian talking point. Now, that Russian talking point goes out of the fact that Ukraine was a part of the USSR, and when the USSR dissolved, they formed their own state.
Right.
Right.
So I guess they didn't, yeah. I guess it wasn't really.
Right. The USSR dissolved. What can you do? It fell. The USSR was terrible. I mean, the USSR was super anti-intellectualist, anti-human rights, had millions of people die from a famine because they fired their state scientists, persecuted, killed, hung, thousands, genocide, ethnic cleansing, terrible, terrible, terrible. Obviously, when that USSR resolved, like nobody wanted to be a part of that new Russian Federation. And there was like select pockets of people, particularly the Ukrainian people, that were able to build the might and form their own state. We should be proud of them for doing that. We shouldn't be against them for doing that. And then Putin's attempt to get that land back is just, trying to rebuild the USSR.
Right. And so would you agree that all politicians are crooked?
Yes, actually, I would. More recently, I don't know. My mindset on like the two-party system is I'm kind of becoming like more anti-two-party. More anti-Republicans and Democrats. But I still ultimately will believe that the Dems are just significantly better than the right. And I guess when I say all politicians are crooked, I really do mean like 95%. I think there's some politicians that do genuinely try to do their best. Like agree or disagree with the guy, Bernie. I don't think he's crooked. Bernie Sanders, I just don't think he's a crooked man. He's always had the same messaging. He's been the first to talk about issues, even when they're unpopular. Hasn't accepted $1 from some of these crazy PACs. Now, you could even disagree with some of his policies, but guess what? He's not a crooked politician. So I'd say like 9 out of 10 politicians are pretty crooked.
I actually like Bernie Sanders myself. I love him. I consider myself a centrist. I have a lot of moral values on the left and right. And I'm with you on the two-party system. I think it's kind of bullcrap.
Yeah. Like there's a lot I disagree with the Democratic Party on. A lot. And like the only reason why I'm not like a self-proclaimed leftist that, denies the Democrat Party is because I'm a capitalist. I think that a version of capitalism is what is best fit for society. I'm not a socialist or communist. But at the end of the day, the Democratic Party is just doing so much better than the right, as well as they're showing like progression. We just had Zoran Mamdani win a primary for the mayoral race over in New York. That is an obvious example of progression. And then even when we look at like who are the most popular people in the party right now, AOC, who is a democratic socialist, obvious sign of progression. You know what I mean? So right. I have more hope in the future of the Democratic Party compared to the future of the Republican Party. And they're just already doing better as is.
Right. So, and then what's your opinion on the whole ICE situation?
Yeah, probably like my least favorite policy from the Trump administration is this mass deportation. There's not a single way, not a single outcome, not a single articulatable consequence of his mass deportation that is good for this country.
Right, but then you hear the right say that they always say it's like, well, they're taking American jobs, they're not paying taxes. Is that true?
Well, they do pay taxes, $100 billion per taxes in a year. Then about taking American jobs. I think what a lot of Americans fail to recognize that if they didn't work those jobs, the economy would shrink and there'd be less job opportunities as a whole, and people would make less money and be less happier. So we should be happy that there's these undocumented laborers in the workforce, and we should advocate for better labor conditions for them by offering them amnesty so they have more bargaining power to garner higher wages. Our GDP will get a boost. Taxable revenue will get a huge boost because think about all of the undocumented immigrants that aren't paying taxes because they can't file for a tax return or claim federal benefits. They're offered amnesty. They're naturalized. All of a sudden, they do get those benefits, and they already are more likely to participate in the labor force and citizens. It's just like immigration is a superpower for our economy. It really is. Even undocumented immigrants, for all the reasons I just gave, and more, really productive members of society. And if they were offered amnesty, they'd be even more productive.
So do you think that anybody should just be able to come to this country without having to go through a legal process?
No, I think we should have a legal process. I just think that legal process should be minimal to what is required to maintain national security, such as outstanding warrants from other countries, screening individuals for prior violent offenses, more intense nonviolent criminal offenses, etc.
And that's the whole thing. You say he's xenophobic, but the way I look at it, I don't think he's being racist. I think he's worried terrorism is a huge threat right now. And I think whenever you're coming from a Muslim country, anywhere in the Middle East, when you're coming over here, we instantly have to be worried about terrorism. Like, that's not me being racist at all. That's the truth.
Until you remember that the people fleeing the authoritarian regimes in the Middle East are coming to America to escape that shit. I don't know why so many people forget this. Like for instance,
they didn't forget it.
For instance, Iran has an authoritarian regime that runs their country. They took over through a coup in the 70s. They're terrible, right? And everybody that's immigrating from Iran to America literally despised that regime so much and hated their authoritarianism to the moon and back, that they put the effort in and traveled over a sea to get to a place where they think they would be better. So, the idea that we need to be worried about people coming from countries in the Middle East like Iran, etc., it's just complete bullshit.
But what about 9/11? Look at that. We had no security at all, and look what happened.
Okay, so just because the individual that orchestrated 9/11 was Muslim doesn't mean that all people that are Muslim agree with the orchestration of 9/11.
No, I know that.
Think about it this way. Think about it this way. Also, they all had legal visas, so technically speaking, they'd be able to do it again today because they had legal visas. And then on top of that, there's been Christian nut jobs that have done crazy shit, like the Oklahoma bombing that killed 140 people.
Right.
But you're not going to look at the average Christian white male and say, well, they shouldn't be able to run for a public office or be a citizen because of.
And that's very true. That's very true. But at the same time, man, terrorism is such a threat in the Middle East. How can you say that we shouldn't be worried whenever there's Middle Eastern people moving over here? I
already told you, because they're escaping those authoritarian regimes.
But we don't know that for sure. I'm sure most of them are, but we don't know that for sure. What if there's one person that's not, and they're coming here to blow up whatever,
Okay. Well, that's why we have a screening process to determine if individuals has ties to any gangs or international terrorist organizations. But I mean, I think when you hop in here and you say, well, you're specifically worried about people from this region, I would be more worried about people from other regions. I seriously do believe that immigrants coming from the Middle East, Iran, etc., they're probably less likely to engage in acts of terror on American soil because they're escaping like the authoritarian regimes of countries in the Middle East, such as Iran, right? So, I mean, I think that really needs to be remembered. I bet that we'd probably see higher levels of like terrorism or terroristic acts committed on American soil from individuals that are coming from other places. I'm not going to lie. I think that we would. As well as additionally here, it's just complete racial profiling to say that because somebody's from a country in the Middle East, that we need to be concerned about them.
No, I'm not. I'm sure most of them are coming over here to escape the regime, but at the same time, man, I feel like you genuinely have to worry because terrorism, there's nowhere else in the world that has terrorism like the Middle East, man. There's nowhere that does the things in the Middle East.
What do you know about the Middle East?
Quite a bit. My father has done 3 tours, 2 tours to Iraq and 1 tour to Afghanistan. And
why do we support terrorism in the Middle East?
I don't support terrorism in the Middle East.
I mean, the Trump administration does.
How so?
American congressmen and women on both sides of the aisles do. The U.S.
How
does.
so?
The country as a whole.
How do you mean that? Are you talking about whenever like?
I mean, I think that we give quite a bit of funding, bombs, weapons, etc., to Israel. I would say that the ethnic cleansing of hundreds of thousands and the killing of 50,000 is definitely terrorism.
It is, but I mean,
right, and that's what Israel's doing. So, I mean, why do we support that terrorism?
I don't support it. I'm more of a. I want world peace. I don't want war anywhere. But unfortunately, there's never going to be a world like that. Never.
Right, and then also, if like you're so concerned with like acts of terror, like what do you think about right-wing terror by Americans on American soil? Right?
What do you mean?
Like for sure. I'll just like the first example that comes to mind is like January 6th. That's right-wing terror that was at the fucking doorstep of this country's capital that risked the outcomes of an election when Donald Trump tried to steal and rig the election. And apparently, if you're so concerned about terror, you know, like the first thing that should come to your mind is, well, the Trump administration, committed an instance of right-wing terror. Or even like recent political unalivings, like the congressman and woman in Walls State, Minnesota, or even the Proud Boys, where like Donald Trump in his debate with Hillary Clinton, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. You know what I mean? Or like ICE fucking black bagging people off the street in plain clothes with head coverings on and then moving them to a detention center 1,000 miles away against the stay ordainment of a judge. Dude, come on. You know what I mean? And like this is all right-wing terror, right? That's going on in this country right now.
Well, it's been proven that January 6th was the left did that. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple.
What did you just say? It's been proven that the left did J6?
Yeah, listen, let me explain.
I'm sorry. So, that's the most outrageous statement that has ever been uttered out of anybody's mouth ever. That statement infuriates me. This statement that the left did J6 literally infuriates me. It makes me want to gouge my eyes out, and just pissing shit out of my eye sockets. Like that is just like a outrageous statement. Please explain that statement that the left did J6.
So I'm sure there was a couple Trumpies, these super right-wing guys that were there, yes. But it's straight up proven that Kamala, the whole left altogether, that was staged to make Trump look bad. That's all to tarnish his image.
Oh, really? Oh, well, if these were all radical leftists,
millions of dollars to do that.
If these were all radical leftists, how come Donald Trump pardoned every single person convicted of a violent crime on J6 if they were all radical leftists? How come he called these radical leftist patriots and let them out of jail?
He pardoned them because these people were paid off by the left to do that. That's out. That's common knowledge now.
Were they also paid off to vote Republican in like the last fucking 50 elections? like no, every single one of these people are like a hardcore Trumpy. We can even look at the people that got pardoned. I mean, there's a handful of them that have like gone on to want to build a social media presence. Are they still being paid by like QAnon or whatever the fuck? Sorry, QAnon's right wing. By Antifa or whatever the fuck to like still act like a Trump supporter now?
All right, so do you support Antifa?
Yeah, I do. You should too.
How? That's a straight up terrorist. That's terrorist.
Wait, being Antifa is being a terrorist?
Have you not seen what they're? So look.
Wait. Are you Antifa? I am Antifa. Are you?
No.
Why? You're not anti-fascist?
I mean, yes, in that sense. I'm talking about right now.
Sorry.
I'm talking about right now.
Antifa just stands for anti-fascist.
Yes, but I'm talking about right now. It's a straight up terrorist group. I mean, look at all the.
I'm a terrorist because I'm Antifa. Am I a terrorist?
Dude, go look up some of the things they do.
Okay.
I mean,
you're pivoting. Okay, because you said that the J6 was funded by the left, and you said that that's been proven.
Yes.
Where's the proof?
It's just research it, man. I don't know.
Should I go watch Alex Jones for an hour and a half?
Hell no, I don't like Alex Jones.
No, so where can I find the proof for this?
Anywhere on the internet, man. I can't tell you
anywhere
exactly.
on the internet. I don't think I'd find this anywhere on the internet. I think that you're a white belt QAnon conspiracy theorist. Okay, like a blue belt or black belt QAnon conspiracy theorist wouldn't tell me that I could find that anywhere on the internet, and that I'd specifically have to go to DuckDuckGo.com and then look up some like underground Telegram group ran by Alex Jones orbiters. Like no, you misstepped by telling me that I could find this anywhere on the internet.
I feel like all it takes is a Google search.
Google search.
Was January 6th funded by the left? ?
Okay.
See what it pulls up. I'm sure there's all kinds of links that say no, and there's all kinds of links that say yes.
Well, what's the evidence that it was?
For one, people have came out and said that they were paid off by the left to do this.
Who?
I don't know their names, man.
Give me evidence that these people even exist.
I just did. Dude, look it up. I don't have.
So the first thing that looks up when I type in "was J6 funded by the left" on Google, conspiracy theorist paints fraudulent reality of January 6 riots.
So you're telling me that you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, even though it's common knowledge.
Yeah, that was like that's totally conspiracy theory. Yeah.
So let's hold on. We'll come back to this. We'll circle back.
Well, I'm actually sorry. We actually do see some dark money groups that apparently were involved in planning and executing events leading up to J6, right? Like including like dark money groups of like robocalls urging attendance at the rally. Do you know who these money groups are?
Nope.
The Republican Attorney General's Association.
So you're saying that it's saying right there that the Republicans funded it?
Duh.
Yeah, I mean that's I'm saying, but that in itself.
Republicans always fund Republican events, rallies, protests, or in this case, riots. Yeah, duh.
Dude, these people flaming me in the damn comments.
Well, bro, you deserve to get flamed for this shit. This is just literally conspiracy theory.
I'm on here to get educated, man. I don't want to be like,
dude.
See, y'all are so peaceful and shit until it's
nah, bro. You're getting what you deserve about this one. For 90% of our conversation, you have been pretty respectful and here for good convo. You even had a couple people in my comment section convinced earlier that you're a true centrist. But about this topic specifically, this is just a far right conspiracy.
Might be wrong, man, but I'm just telling you, this is what I've read. This is what I've seen, and I don't think either of us can say
you got God. No, you got God. You got God by the nut job.
You can't say either one is true, though. We don't
absolutely.
know.
We can. I can say that you're wrong because you don't have evidence. You got God by the nut jobs. I don't know what happened to you. Maybe like you were like scrolling on Twitter one day and you just got unlucky and some random fucking person was on the FYP. Oh yeah, he got banned. He just got banned for community guidelines violation. Yeah, you just got banned for your conspiracy theory. Like your conspiracy theory is such a conspiracy theory that TikTok just banned you for it. Sid with the $20 saying it's deleted now, but Elmo's Twitter got hacked and he posted Elmo says release the Epstein files, then proceeded to spam slurs and anti-Semitism. Yeah, there's a lot of right-wing freaks going pretty hard on that right now. Crazy shit. Elmo does not say those things. Okay. For everybody watching, what time is it? Yeah, it's 5:30. I should probably get off. Victoria, thank you so much for the $25 over on PayPal. Victoria says, put it in your college fund. Thank you for the love, Victoria. Well, unfortunately, Victoria, I'm actually a college dropout. Yeah, buddy. Some crazy shit. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. At this point, I'm pretty okay with it. Pretty okay with the idea at this point. College dropout. You know, that didn't feel too good when I dropped out. It didn't feel too good at all. No. Anyways, everybody. Yeah, Dean the college dropout. Dead ass. Yay, no student debt. Oh my god. Well, I had, what the hell? Got banned for misinformation. Bruh. That was such a conspiracy theory that it got me taken down. Bruh. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, we got taken down for conspiracy theory, for misinformation. We got banned again. I told him. I told that guest that it was a conspiracy theory. He didn't believe me. I hope he believes me now that he got banned and I got banned. Who knows? Peter, thank you for the 200 DKK over on YouTube Super Chat. Thanks, man. This is very kind of you, Mr. Peter. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Very kind, very kind. I wish that the TikTok auto moderation system had the ability to make differences between what the guest is saying and what I'm saying. You know? Like, TikTok should be able to point out that he's like, they paid for J6. And then I'm like, no, they didn't. You know, like, I'm correcting that misinformation that they banned me for. Unfortunate. Okay, everybody. I am going to go ahead and hop off for the night. Unfortunate time to get banned because I was just getting ready to hop off. I'll see you all tomorrow. Make sure to join the announcement channel over my Discord or Instagram to figure out what account I'll be live on tomorrow, because I don't know if I'll get this appeal to go through or not. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, but anyways, love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.